Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you Conte'S Tactics Explained with co-host Jack Kanicki. Jack, my man, how are things, brother?
David, it seems like, the referees just continue to follow you around, and I do mean that in the worst of ways. But apart from that, I am doing all right. Watched a decent game of football from the boys in green, tonight. It was fantastic watch along from Philip, you, Dermot. It was honestly fantastic vibes as well. But I'm looking forward to this Conte Explain video, David. We got a lot to say, a lot to go through, maybe a lot to break down. And I know the Harris Army is also going to be able to hold us accountable for it. They'll give their ideas of maybe what the team will look like in the future and whatnot. It's just going to be another kind of almost like a stats with Jack, David, but a bit more just tactics. And then we're going to be joined by you this time, as well as, the Harris Army. It's just honestly, Dave, it's going to be absolute vibes tonight.
No, it is. It's going to be good. It's going to be very interesting as well, because hopefully then, everyone can kind of get a broad idea of what Conte is trying to implement and stuff like that. Look, over the last 2 years, we've had so many tactics, this and that. You know what I mean? Hopefully now we can really get behind this tactic, because I can. Look, studying it the last couple of days, Jack, that now that we've had time to kind of, after the big Russia teams, that we've had sit back time, study it, I believe in this even more now, 10 times more than what I already did. Look, I already believed in it, but now I'm just gung-ho. The wellies are off. I'm 2 feet deep. You know what I mean? I absolutely love what he's trying to do. The amount of overloads and everything he's trying to create, it's absolutely brilliant. It's just the final ball. Once we get that going, honestly, it's the missing piece.
The final ball, the final finish. Not his fault. Eventually, it'll start coming through for him, Dave.
No, it definitely will. It definitely will, 100%. Look, let's see what Harris Army we have in the building to join us. We have Dark Sun G21 says, "Come on, you Spurs. Conte is the man who will definitely get our fitness up. From what I saw from an article, he banned ketchup, mayonnaise for our players. That's exactly what we need. And fizzy drinks. Do not forget the fizzy drinks, my man. No fizzy drinks either." I put up a picture of Forrest Gump sprinting down the highway, saying breaking news, Ndombele leaving Tottenham way, and this afternoon as soon as I heard it, because I'd say honestly, not just him. Look, there's probably other players there that have a bit of a sweet tooth as well. And look, see how it goes down. But at the end of the day, they've got to believe whatever this guy says goes. And I just hope Paratici and Levy, if players do come crying, knocking on the door, looking for a can of Coke or to buy a chocolate bar on the black market around Tottenham way, that they tell them exactly where to go. It's just like, look, you believe in the manager. We're not letting you get rid of it.
We know also ketchup and mayo, Dave. If you mix that together, that's Indon Burger special sauce as well. So honestly, it's been taken away from him.
Oh, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Kuva is adding to it. He says, ketchup and mayonnaise, is that a couple of exotic dancers that Deli and Bergwijn picked up? Oh, Kuva, you crack me up, my man. Assar Downer says, Bergwijn can be made into a wing-back and Mora a box-to-box maybe. Do you know what? I would put Mora as more of a wing-back. Look, Bergwijn, I just don't rate. I'll be honest with you. I hope he proves me wrong.
Yeah, I want him to prove us wrong. We just don't rate him. We just don't rate him. Yeah, but look, hopefully he can prove us wrong.
Do you know what, Jack? I can see why people would say, Bergwijn would make a good wing back under Conte. You look what he done with Victor Moses, and as well, you look at Bergwijn. Look, when he was playing on the right-hand side under Jose, before Bale kind of really came in the last quarter of the season and took over, we had nothing coming down from that right-hand side, and all we could say every week was, Bergwijn worked hard, but that was it. There's times where look. For me, I think he has to have major improvements, to be honest with you. Celery Agent's in the house. Big up, Celery Agent. Hope you're keeping well. Derek Hutchinson's in the building. Good evening, guys. I hope you're both well. I'm fantastic after Ireland's draw with Portugal. We were absolutely robbed, by the way. Absolutely robbed. Referee from start to finish. Honestly, like Jack said during the watch-along, honestly, I felt like, at one stage he was about to pull out a bundle of 50s wrapped up instead of a yellow and show them instead. It was absolutely ridiculous. You can see him arguing. You can see Ronaldo arguing with him, saying, look, the 2 women I sent to your hotel room last night, you have to give us every decision. You know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous. And then the goal at the end, I'm sorry, but right, Will Keane does nothing wrong. He holds off the keeper. Perfect. Keeper was like, he didn't go down. There was even the keeper, I'd say, was surprised that was given. Takes it down. Ball goes back across by Callum Robinson. Doherty, believe it or not, Matt Doherty actually put it in the back of the net, who actually did have a good game for Ireland today, may I add. He actually had a good game for Ireland. But the referee disallowed it, and it was crucial for Portugal because they go into a massive game with Serbia at the weekend, and the winner of that tops the group. So it was absolutely crucial for Portugal. And I just feel robbed, to be honest with you. I actually don't understand how they got through customs with the balaclavas on. I really do not. I really do not. Surely when you see a Portugal team and the referee and his assistants walking through Dublin Airport with the balaclavas, you stop them, pull them aside and say, hey, lads, what's going on here? You know what I mean? You here to cause daylight robbery to our nation. Like, what's going on? You know, not just walk straight through. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just, it's so annoying. Derek Hutchinson says, good evening, guys. I hope you, I already read that. Big up, man. I'm fantastic. Tottenham Tantrum, big up, guys. Conte to new stats, to the new stats men. Going to show Conte how we're going to win the league. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. Come on, you Spurs. Dermot, he's going to show us how to win the league. Look, we've had a look at his tactics. We've had a look at systems and stuff like that. And we're just going to show you what the guy does. That's it. That's all we're going to do. Mr. Edwardson says, Ireland were very unlucky not to have one tonight. Much more chances than Portugal. If they had a striker, they would have won. No, 100%. I couldn't agree more, my man. We were very unlucky. Like I said, absolutely robbed. Dark Sung G says, Kuva, I know you were joking, but I mean the dipping sauce for hamburgers. And then Kuva's replying, this is actually good banter. I've been keeping an eye on this. Yeah, it's really it's really a strict move. It is, my man. Big up Dark Sun G though in the house as well. Big yourself up, my man. Faz Radfar. Big up, guys. Hope you are well. Can't wait for our next match. I will be there to welcome Conte for his first home match in the Premier League. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up. His first home match. Oh, yeah, his first home match, yeah. But against it's Leeds, isn't it? I think it's
it's going to be at Leeds. Yeah, with Leeds, Dave.
Yeah, big up, Faz. Big up, Faz. You know, go and sing proud. Make sure you know, once or twice you shout out the Irish Hotspur, you know, a couple of times, Fazzy, you know, really get them off their feet, you know. That's what I'd say to you. But, Faz, make sure you go and enjoy the game. Look, there's plenty of people in our community that go. Brad Matthews, I presume, will be going and stuff like that. If you want to go for a pint beforehand, just get in contact with them, my man, or get in contact with me and I'll put you in contact with them. No problem. You know, nobody should be going to a game on their own. They should be enjoying the game with like-minded fans, my man. Big yourself up. Sean Snow's in the house. Delhi's got Pep Starter on speed dial. That he does, my man. Dermot, new channel member. Big yourself up. Paro Miguel Escobardo's in the house. Good evening, guys. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap
Legend.
Up, all the way from Lagos, my man.
Buena serata to Paro Miguel. Buena serata.
Jack, the man of all languages, honestly, you're so linguistic.
Miguel, I think speaks like 4 or 5 languages, Dave. I'm pretty sure he speaks like 4 or 5 languages. So the man is he's honestly a linguistic man himself. So big yourself up, Para Miguel. But lazy 8, no ketchup and no mayo. Oh, well, that's the secret sauce taken right out of Tongi's Big Mac. Poor lad. I mean, I hope I hope maybe he's got something else maybe in line. Maybe a bit of sriracha with, a bit of chili oil, something like that. Maybe that's a bit healthier. Hopefully he has some other secret burger sauce, available to him that maybe Conte's not aware of, because he's definitely going to be trying to sneak something into the camp every single night, Dave. So hopefully they're just patting Tongi down, looking for ketchup packets and things like that.
Honestly, there's going to be one of the kit men, one of the doctors, one of the physios, something like that. Someone's going to see a chance to make a quick buck off these high rollers, and he's going to be dishing out like chocolate bars on the slide, little cans of pop. You'll see Endom. Look, if it's the kit man or it's the physio, if whoever's selling the pop, Endom Bella will be there. So it's kind of an obvious trail, you'll see him sneaking off into physio. Bit of a tweak in the hamstring, go in, get a can of Coke, you know what I mean? Or a bit of tweak in the hamstring, go in and get a dairy milk, pack of potato, you know what I'm talking about, So look, there's going to be some wisecrack in there that's going to be selling that stuff on the black market around the training ground. Believe me, Nick, big yourself up, brother, big yourself up. He's been an absolute legend for me and Jack, big up. James Watson, come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, James Watson. Big yourself up. Sean Snow says, hit that like button. You tell him, my man. You tell him.
Listen to Sean, everybody. Listen to Sean. He's a guy you don't want. Not a guy you want to reckon with, Dave. Honestly, listen to Sean.
No, definitely 100%. Killian Kenny, come on, you boys in green. What a B game. Let's go. Big up, David. A few more minutes, and I might be able to say some of them words. But big yourself up, Killian Kenny, my man. You're a legend. Hope you're keeping well. Chris, big yourself up, my man. Chris is in the house. We have JC. He's absolutely burning down the house. He says, I remember Ramos did something similar, banning ketchup, etc. And Big Tom Huddleston still managed to sneak a McDonald's onto the team coach for a game.
Pretty sure also Fabio Capello, the former England manager, also did it as well. So, it seems to be common, amongst maybe certain kind of strict managers. So whatever it is in the ketchup, Dave, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think Paolo Di Canio, that crazy man, he done it as well wherever he was managing as well. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more the Italians, lad. You know, they must have some scientists over there working on the ketchup and mayo or something that they have secrets about it. Seb Shah says, yo, and he's saying big up Chris as well. Big up Seb. I hope you're keeping well. The regulars in the house.
Big up,
evening, everyone. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harasami. Big up the regular, my man. I hope you're keeping well. We also have Claude Murphy. Big up, guys. Blessings. Big up, Claude. I hope you're keeping well, brother. Who else have we got in the house? This guy, he's sneaking in the window. It's not
Mario.
He says, damn, Jack, what camera did you end up using? And by the way, I actually was meant to say that, guys. Everybody, come, get on to Jack. Lazy 8 as well. Let's give him the credit, provided, everybody do get on and give Jack compliments for the camera. I'll be honest, it's the best camera I've seen in the business. You know what I mean? It's absolutely unbelievable. I know there's people out there that are real tech guys, and I'd say they're absolutely raging. They're frotting out the mouth, scanning through the internet to find out exactly what you're using, Jack. But honestly, big up Nick and Jack. It's a great camera, Jack.
Just big up Lazy 8, everybody. The guy's been an absolute fairy godfather to me, honestly. He's been an absolute brother to me, an absolute friend. He's just been, honestly, I mean, I don't know what I did, David, to deserve somebody like him, but Lazy 801 in the chat, big him up. He's an absolute legend. I know he doesn't want too much praise, but if you do see him in the chat again, everybody, just give him the praise he definitely deserves. And I know he deserves more praise than he probably wants as well, but big up Lazy 8, absolute legend.
And as well, he'll be hooking me up as well. So, it takes a bit longer to get over here, but I can't wait to be hooked up. You know what I mean? It's going to be amazing. Look, it may not be I wouldn't say I'll have the special lens Jack has, but I'll have to find out what the secret is. I'll have to get Nick to beta out of him or get Jack to beta out of Nick so I can find out what it is so I can have that secret lens as well. But then again, maybe if I had that sharp of a lens, it'd probably show how ugly I really am. So who knows? But big up Tottenham teacher. Good note. This is a tech guy. I know that for sure.
Big up Mario, legend.
This guy's coming in the cat flap. Big yourself up. Hello. Big yourself up, Alexander. Golden Cock. He's sneaking in the front door. He says, evening all. Looking forward to chilling and listening to this. Big up Golden Cock. I do apologise that it is a bit late. But come on, you have to allow. I'm watching my beloved Ireland, so I'm sorry that it's usually half an hour to an hour late. But we are here, guys. Who else have we got in the house? Pete from the Lane. This guy, what a legend. This guy has a key to the door. He says, big up, lads. Looking forward to this one. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Pete from the Lane. I hope you're keeping well, my man. Hope you're keeping well. Next time I'm over, come out for a pint, my man. Come out for a pint, but big yourself
big up,
lad.
Pete.
Legend. Really appreciate the support, my man. Who else have we got? Seb Shah saying, now he's recognising us. He was too busy fondling over Chris on the last one. He's saying, big up, David and Jack. All the Conte army watching. Big yourself up, Sebby boy. I hope you're keeping well, my man. Jamie gets in the house. There has to be some sacrifice for the 80k per week, plus per week. These jokers are on. Time to get serious. I could not agree more. Jimmy's old school. We have big up Jamie. Beakwood, a.k.a. Adrigalis. Let me know when Bergwijn ever looked to be decent at stealing the ball.
Not a bad theory, actually. I've kind of thought that, Bergwijn, a lot of people say the work rate, at least recently on the left wing. I haven't really seen it. On the right wing, I think we saw it. Under Jose, we saw the work rate, but on the left wing, I'm not sure if I've seen it. So good comment there. Underrated comment.
Yeah. Yasan Shakur, any relation to Tupac, my man, do let me know. He says, have you guys seen on Twitter the parody account for GL's Giovanni Lascasa got blocked with Gio? I did see that, to be fair.
Legendary.
Big yourself. I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. Of course, as he found out.
He's got a lot of material to work with, Dave. He's got a lot of material to work with.
What I will say is, if you do see a dramatic improvement in Gio, everyone may flock to that account and praise him. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? Amir Sardar says, big up, lads. Great show as usual. Come on, you Spurs. Up the Harasami. Subscribe now. Amir, that's what I'm talking about. Man. Absolutely love it. Legend.
Listen to Amir, everybody. Listen to him.
Exactly. Do what Amir tells you. What a legend. Mark Cousins says, what did you think of Doherty? I thought he did okay. He had a good game today, Marky. He had a good game, my man. Can't complain. He got a goal as well. That should have stood. So can't complain. I thought he was all right today. Let's see if he can replicate in the Tottenham jersey. That's what it's all about. Brian Ireland's in the house. Big up, Brian Ireland. This guy I caught coming in the window of the house. Big yourself up, my man. He says, what's up, lads? He's from Tottenham on tour. Shares the channel with Mr. Daigle, guys. Do get over there and check that out. Tottenham on tour, guys. Me and Jack will be on there very, very soon as well. Big up, Brian, my man. We have Georgie in the house. He says, Stevie B will deliver your final ball, Dave. Nah, he won't. Honestly, I'm surprised he delivered the baby, to be fair. You know what I mean? He can't. Look, he's not. Look, the guy comes out. He scores one goal every 6 months. or he does a little trick like he did against Wolves, and people are falling over themselves, telling each other how good Stevie B is, but he's really not that good. I'll be honest with you. Look, every player I criticise, I genuinely actually hope comes out and proves me wrong. But at the end of the day, we're fans. We absolutely adore this club more than what they probably do. We have every right to criticise them if they're not putting it in. At the end of the day, if they put it in, they get praise. Players that we do praise, like Son, Kane, Romero, Lloris, you put in the effort, you get the praise. It's that simple. So big up, Georgie.
He shoots blanks on the pitch, David. Apparently, not with the misses. That's maybe a good thing. So at the end of the day, Stevie B, congratulations. But yeah, seriously, you got to probably put some of these away. But big up. John Fitzpatrick saying Ireland are not just not good enough. It's simple. I would say, John, from maybe an outside perspective before David answers, I thought they've actually looked a lot better than they have before. I even joked, to David, I feel like I've watched Ireland play Denmark in the last 2 years, probably over 20 times. And those were some of the most dreadful matches I've ever seen. Seen huge improvement. I've seen huge improvement. That's probably coming from somebody that, to a degree, is maybe not, I definitely like watching Ireland or supporting Ireland, but it's not really, my favorite team to watch or anything by any means. So I think it's improved a lot, John. And I will say that Bazunu guy, that goalkeeper, I want him badly. I'd take him over Galini any day at this moment.
Yeah, go and get this guy. I'm telling you now, I'm not just saying it because he's Irish, but this guy will be an elite keeper in 4 or 5 years' time. Trust me, any manager in 4 or 5 years' time that's looking for a keeper to play out with his feet, this is the guy. And he makes some great saves as well. He's very quick off his line. He reads the game very well. This guy is top quality. John Fitzpatrick, look, I can understand it. Look, we've been going through a torrid time with Ireland. We've been going through a torrid time with Tottenham Hotspur. But look, we're both on the up. Tottenham have Conte. Ireland are improving by the game now. So look, there's a lot to be positive about now, John. Come on, my man. Lift yourself up, John. He just wants goals. All he needs is a goal, and he's going to be over the moon. Big up, Johnny boy. Big boss man's in the house. He says, ooh, big up, big boss man. Hope you keep him well, my man.
Legend.
We have Keen Fan. He says 170 subs until 5K. Subscribe, everyone who still hasn't. Come on, you Spurs. Coys. Big yourself up, my man. Everybody, look, 21st November, it is the deadline. Look, if it doesn't make it, it doesn't make it. I would love to get to 5K by then. I really would. It would be the year anniversary of the channel. 5K in 1 year is insane. I thought I'd be lucky to have 50 or 500. You know what I mean? So even sitting here talking about 5K, genuinely, I pinch myself every single day. Every single day. I can't believe it. I genuinely can't believe it. Honestly, I thought, if I had 50 people listening to me, I would have been absolutely over the moon. 5K, insane, Jacko. Insane.
No, David, it's all credit, honestly, to the Harris Army here that's gotten you there. It's all credit to you, David, with all the hard work you've brought. It's been an absolutely team effort from the fan base as well as you, David. But honestly, it's plenty of the Harris Army, though. But plenty of the Harris Army in the chat, David, should honestly pat themselves on the back because they're absolutely brilliant. They're honestly huge regulars as well. They tune in, David. Sometimes I've even seen Kuva, I think, one time say, had to shoo the kids away, had to shoo the family away, just to get into the chat. Some people apologize for being late, I would just say, David, it's the strongest fan base, the strongest loyal followers there are. It's an absolute family. So big yourselves up for it as well.
No, big up the Irish Hotspur Army. Look, we're taking over the world. That's what we're going to do. We're starting small, but one day we will take over the world, and that's the aim. So let's do it. And let's do it all together. Look, it's an incredible team effort. Myself, Jack, and everybody that makes this channel. And I'm talking about you guys out there who religiously view it. It's like a religion to you guys who, constantly, honestly, share the streams all over social medias, tell people and bringing other new people in, telling them that should come over. Everyone that supported us financially, which is, honestly, you have no idea. You have no idea how much it helps. It's absolutely massive. So thank you. And you know what? Everyone that makes the chat so welcoming as well. Anybody can come into the chat. Yes. They all chat with each other. They all get their opinions heard. Look, we try our best here. Even if you can't do super chats, we still try and bring up everybody's chat. So I just feel we've created a great community. There's no reason why we can't take it worldwide. No reason whatsoever. You got to dream big. You have to. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So a massive thank you to everybody out there that we're even talking about hitting 5K subs. It's absolutely insane. You guys are what makes the channels. You guys make the channels. If you don't support them the way you do, ultimately they don't really end up working out long term and having a long term goal, and you maybe being at it 4, 5, 6 years. You know what I mean? So your support is incredible, and I encourage you to get behind every content creator, mainly Tottenham ones. You know what I mean? Every content creator that's doing Tottenham content, get behind them. You know what I mean? I'm sick of, anytime I used to turn on YouTube, it was all United, Arsenal, Liverpool. You know what I mean? Now it's Tottenham's up there, and I absolutely love to see it. So big up, everybody. Karate says, Jack, are you Irish?
I think I've explained this before, where I'll just explain it quickly. On my mom's side, which is more of recent kind of immigration, I'm very Irish and Polish. I believe I'm half Polish, half Irish. And then on my dad's side, which is kind of crazy, I believe his, family, David, has been in the U.S. since basically the Oregon Trail, which anybody who lives in the U.S. or North America would know about. That's pretty much like the 1800s, 1700s. So he pretty much is just, I think he thinks he's Scottish or something, or he doesn't even really know what he is because his family's been around in the U.S. for that long. So I'm basically Irish and Polish is basically what it is. That's the combo right there. Bit of Lewandowski, bit of Robbie Keane up top. That's basically what you're getting from me.
So look, you've got Jack's whole family history tree there, guys. So I absolutely love it. So there's your answer, Karate. I hope you enjoyed it, man. I hope you enjoyed it. Big up, Jacko. King Huddle says, do the panel agree that the stress of having to work with Levy will almost certainly result in His Excellency Don Antonio requiring a second hair transplant? Yeah, I would agree with that, to be honest. It would not surprise me. Same as Conte. Conte didn't have a lot of hair back in the day, He's definitely had one somewhere along the line. Big yourself up. Derek Hutchison says, get in Skriniar, Brozovic and Vlahovic and watch us climb up the league into top 4. Could not agree more with that, my man. And of course, Jack, we've done them on Brozovic and Vlahovic over on the flatcapeurotalk.
Yeah.
Tell them they have to get over there and watch it.
Especially the Brozovic one, I would say, I know people are kind of taking a break and whatnot, but I would definitely say check out that one. It's actually a 2-part highlight reaction. We kind of do ones where he's getting absolutely stuck in, maybe just, showing, his defensive capabilities. And the other one is just absolute sauce time, kind of reaction from Brozovic, where we're just watching him pinging passes left and right, hitting absolute bangers from outside the box, upper Vs, just absolutely hitting some wonder strikes, as well as just being an absolute baller that he is. So everybody, the Brozovic highlight reaction, as well as scout report, where I break down a lot of the stats of him as well, and why he essentially will be that tempo setter, will be that ball playing, holding midfielder that we've all been searching for in this side, is out right now on Flatcap Eurotalk. Check that out right after this stream, please.
Do, because he's exactly what we need, guys. Shamu's in the house. Big up, Shamu. I hope you're keeping well, my man. He says, what a shirt, Jack. Where did you get that classic?
The sister just recently came back from Dublin, Dave. So that's where I got it from. So she lives in Philly, which is pretty close to New York. So, she and I hooked up and, she passed it on to me. She's very, very, very generous to me. Definitely. So that's where it's come from. It's come straight from Ireland itself.
There you are, Shamu. He has to protect that with everything he has. William McKenzie's in the house. Big yourself up. We also have Edward Cav. Come on, my man. Big yourself up. It's good to see you. We have Starsky as well. It's good to see you, my man. Sean Snow with the super chat. Can't wait till you're all kissing Tanga's ass when Conte'S beat him. I'll be honest with you, Sean. I hope I am. But at the end of the day, look, even if I am, you cannot condone 3 years of being unfit. You can't do it. Look, ultimately, I've always said I think there's a good, a world-class player in there if you could get him going. But look, I will kiss his ass once he starts performing. I
don't know if there's enough room, though, Dave. I don't know if there's enough room, because I know Sean and I have been kissing both cheeks of, that beautiful ass for a long time. So honestly, Sean, I know you've been probably kissing it first before I did, but I'll be right there beside you, Sean, absolutely, handing him, all the rewards that he needs, slipping him a few burgers, a few ketchup packets for the rewards. But Sean, I know you've been the OG for it, but I'll be right behind you, right beside you, kissing the butt as well. Big yourself up, Sean.
No, big up, Sean. Look, hopefully he does start performing, because my God, he could be the answer, Shawnee. But big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate the support. And you're right, Nico. My mom wouldn't recognize me. Honestly, she'd be like, my God, my son's so handsome, Big yourself up, Nick. Zoe's in the house. Good to see you, Zoe. It's good to see you, lad. Or Zoe, it's really good to see you. Everything football. Good to see you, Fen, lad. It's good to see you, my man. Do you guys think the international break came at the wrong time?
It always comes at the wrong time. I hate the international break. It always comes at the wrong time. I'll tell you that. Really, everything football. It also happens way too often. So that's my answer right there.
Nah, big up, everything football. Tottenham Tantrum says, big up, guys.
Wow,
this is for
one.
you both legends, both proper gentlemen as well. Have my flat cap coming tomorrow for Monday. Please get your likes, subs, and super chats in. They're so helpful. So please help the best duo on in town. God bless you, the pair of you. Look, Dermot, I really appreciate that, my man. You're way, way, way too kind. Absolutely, really appreciate that, my man. Thank you so much, Jack. What do you want to say, Dermot?
Dermot's an absolute brother as well to this channel. Lazy 8 has helped us a ton, David, but also Dermot, has helped us absolutely tremendously. He's also somebody that I absolutely confide in, someone that does always ask me, if I'm doing okay. Dermot's an absolute legend. He's been an absolute brother to me personally. That's just coming from me personally. I really absolutely love and respect you, Dermot. And also, Dermot, thank you for the huge big one as well. But I really also appreciate all the support that you've given this channel, David. He's also one of the big OGs, continues to, support us in every way he can, even just by sending us a text, sometimes just saying, is everything all right with you guys? Everything good with the family and whatnot? He's just an absolute legend, Dave. Really, honestly, he's a true brother to me, at least personally.
No, he is. He's an absolute gentleman. He's always checking in, making sure we're okay. And I absolutely love it, So big yourself up, Dermot. And look, he's been incredibly kind to us, Jacko, as well. And look, everybody, please do get over and check out Tottenham Tantrum Gold on YouTube as well. Because he's putting up kind of older games from like the 80s and earlier and stuff like that, just like cup finals and everything else for people to go and watch. During international breaks and stuff like that. So make sure you do get over there and check that out, guys. It's absolutely brilliant. He does
just a top class. He's just a top class guy as well, though. Everybody, like, he really is. You'd be honored to know him. That's all I can tell you. You'd be honored to know him. He's educating you also on the glory days as well of Spurs, which somebody young like me definitely needs. So everybody, just Dermot, Tottenham Tantrum, remember the name. The guy's an absolute legend. And obviously, you know him from the fan shows, I think, now. But honestly, Dermot, he's a huge legend and a huge OG as well.
No, he is. Big up, Dermot. Big up, Dermot. My man is too generous. Thank you so much, lad. Really, really appreciate it. Potter Matt, big yourself up. I'll always keep smiling, my man. Stackademics, absolutely love the name. Big yourself up. We have Dom J in the house. Big yourself up. Yassine Shakur is not related to Tupac. Big yourself up, my man. Who else have we got in the house? Let's see. Mr. Manny's in. Antonio, big yourself up. Absolutely love it. Mr. Manny, big yourself up. We also have Kevin K in the house. My man, he says, lads, get pick and mix Gary on for one show. I think that's the guy. Is that the guy from Chris Cowland's channel? You're on about Kevin K. Let me know. I know there's Gary that does be on there. Warren Phelan says, got the Kiwi cricketers. Come on, you Spurs, so bloody excited about Conte. Absolute beast. That he is, Warren. I'm absolutely delighted to have him. Absolutely love it, my man. Big yourself up. Who else have we got in the house? Let me see. I don't want to miss anyone out. We have Pete the Aid. He says, opinions on Bale's return rumours. Do you know what? Just quickly, Pete. Why are we replacing Gareth Bale? We're replacing Gareth Bale, who replaced Gareth Bale. This will be the third time. It's absolutely no, I don't want him back. I just don't want him back. Look, we have to move on from that. We have to move on. That's just my quick opinion on it. Alejandro Perez says, you think Conte has the players on Zoom when they're making meals at their home? I'll be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if there was like a hit squad standing over them, watching them, waiting for them to go for the Dolmio and, they're pulling out the taser, I wouldn't be surprised. Alejandro, I really wouldn't.
That's great.
Kai's in the house as well, Jacko. Hi,
Legend.
guys. Thanks for a wonderful night last night on the FIFA.
Yeah, me and him were playing a bit of FIFA last night, just kind of vibing out, kind of just catching up with each other, getting to know each other as well. So everybody, if maybe next time I'm on FIFA, if you do want to hit me up for that, you're welcome to. I had a great time with Elias last night. And also, David, he's giving me a lot of, tips and stuff on pronouncing a lot of kind of the Scandinavian names as well. A lot of, the Viking names of, around the world as well. So honestly, Elias, hope you're keeping well, my man. Also, hopefully, everything in school is going all right and whatnot. But he's an absolute legend, everybody. Coys with that heart right there. He's an absolute legend. Big him up.
Big up, lad. Big up. Adrian Siraka's in the house as well. Big yourself up. Let's get a last couple in, and then we will crack on with what we have put together for you guys. But mainly Jack. I did do the research beforehand, but Jack's put it all together. Craig Bowler, great result for Ireland today. Big up, David, and big up, Jack. Big yourself up, Craig, my man. It's good to see you in. Same as Derek Hutcherson. We also have Jerome. Good results for Public Ireland tonight. Big up, boys, for another good stream. Thank you, Jerome. It's good to see you in, my man.
Legend.
Good result for Ireland. That's why I'm smiling. Keith Hicks says, sell him the minute and sell so for Damsgaard or Danny Olmo from Leipzig. Not bad choices.
Not a bad swap. Not a bad swap, definitely.
And we also have Island Life. What's up, lads? Big up, Island Life. It's good
Legend.
to see you in, my man.
Legend.
And we have George. He says, thanks, Jack and Dave. Big up, George, my man. I hope you're keeping well. Thank you for the support, my man. And we also have Tommy. He says, when Irish speaks, we listen. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Arse Tommy. Come on, you flat cap army. That's what I'm talking about, my man. Big yourself up, Tommy. I really appreciate the support. George, Sean Snow, and Dermot. Guys, before we do get into it, make sure everyone smashes that like button, smash that subscribe button. The big push to 5K before the 21st of November is on. Let's see if we can get there. The 1 year anniversary, 5K in 1 year would be insane. And as well, guys, keep getting your super chats in. It is a massive support to myself and Jack. You have no idea how much it really helps. You know, things that people don't see. There's a lot of subscriptions and stuff you need to pay for to be able to put thumbnails together, to have all the good news and, you know, everything else like that. And there's lots of other things that go into it, you know, so it's a massive help towards the channel, you know, and I'll be honest with you, it also helps, you know, kind of like what Nick is doing there. He's donating the camera and stuff like that. You know, it really helps. It helps get the equipment that we need to get this up to an acceptable level so that the quality is better for you guys every single week, week in, week out. And it's just a great way to support us. Look, I'll be honest with you. If I'm at an all-you-can-eat buffet, there's probably 2 burgers left. I know there's more coming, but them 2 look good. I'm not waiting. I just slip the man a fiver who's taking out the tray, slip them onto my plate. You know, basically, I can just skip the queue and get onto the chips. And then I got all the good stuff ahead of everybody else. So, guys, basically what I'm saying is, get your super chats in. It skips you to the very, very top of the queue. Do not worry, guys. I know Christmas is around the corner, Thanksgiving, and there's loads of other holidays all around the world coming up. You know, it's also Wednesday. It's also a Thursday. It's Thursday today. So it's also a Thursday. You know what I mean? So, guys, do not worry. I know it's the end of the week. You know, some people, you know, you only have enough left for bread and milk. Do not worry about that. I will do my best to get everybody's comments up on screen. But look, Jack, I say people are sick of listening to me, 100%. Maybe a bit sick of listening to you. Who knows? But let's give what they're tuning in for, Jacko. Let's do it.
Oh, they'll get sick of me soon, Dave, especially, you know, with these tactical breakdowns. But everybody, we are just going to basically go through maybe a quick synopsis here. We're going to break down maybe Antonio Conte's current 3-4-3. We're going to break down a possible potential kind of formations that he might switch to, which will be the 3-5-2, as well as the 3-4-1-2 as well, which some have even touted as well from, I believe, Alzer Gold, as you know, also said that might be a potential one. So we are going to break those all down tactically, you know, with a bit of still frame images, and then we're going to go into some of those kind of animations as well. So let's just take this down for a ride, everybody. First one for the 3-4-3, everybody, just going to kind of just explain maybe, because the 3-4-3 was very similar basically to what Chelsea was running, you know, when he was coaching them. And when we do kind of think about that in that Chelsea system, you know, it was actually where Eric Dyer was. He had David Luiz as kind of that ball playing center back, a bit of that libero kind of ball playing center back. But at the moment, you know, he seems to be putting Eric Dyer there. My theory is just because, you know, Eric Dyer doesn't really have the pace or really the ball carrying ability to be out on the flanks of kind of the center back. So he kind of has to, he's almost relegated to put him into that kind of center position, which then means he's going to have to go for almost like a Thomas Tuchel kind of 3-4-3 kind of system, which basically means ball carrying center backs on either side. You know, Romero more or less is playing practically the Azpilicueta role, but we all know Romero's absolute god over there. So I think he'll do, you know, wherever you put him, he's just going to be a beast. And then we have Ben Davies, you know, surprisingly kind of being that ball carrying center back on the other side. Emerson and Reguilon, we all know, as it's been discussed a million times, so I don't have to break it down too much, are basically high flying wing backs that stay very wide, keep the pitch very, very wide, as well as also, you know, continuing to push high so that, you know, they are kind of like an outlet ball, you know, if you need to switch, you know, play at any time. We do think that maybe, you know, Skippy, and we might break this down later, could probably play that N'Golo kind of Conte role of that 3-4-3 system when Antonio Conte was coaching N'Golo Conte. And then as well, you know, Højbjerg might play a bit of that Nemanja Matic kind of role of that Chelsea system, which is kind of someone that, you know, was also stuck in defensively, but we kind of carry the ball forward and get forward at times, you know, when it was necessary in order to kind of dictate the tempo, dictate the play. But what's also very important is that these two have to stay very intertwined together. They have to stay very close together. With Sonny, he is going to basically being almost like a second striker, and that 3-4-3 is going to stay very high and very narrow so that when he can be played through the channels, through the lanes and stuff, he will be available for it. He also will kind of, almost switch with Lucas at times, or even with Harry Kane. Harry Kane and him kind of alternate a lot, which is very important. That will be broken down later. But he basically is going to be playing like a second striker, even in that 3-4-3 system. Harry Kane is almost actually playing, which is a bit interesting, since Eden Hazard would be starting off the left next to Diego Costa in that 3-4-3. It's almost like I'm actually anticipating Harry Kane kind of playing that Eden Hazard role, the kind of the creator kind of number 9, the number 10, number 9, if you will, playing there. And then Lucas is basically playing that Pedro role. David, before I move on to the next slide here, is there anything that maybe catches your eye, anything that you might find interesting, maybe even Skippy potentially being, Spurs and N'Golo Kante?
Look, what I find fascinating is, and the way we're set up here, and especially the way we set up against Everton, what it's designed to do, right? It creates multiple overloads all over the pitch. So no matter where the ball is, there's constant overloads. And eventually what that does is gets the opposition to sit further, deeper and deeper and deeper. Ultimately, what we did kind of see against Everton, they were starting to sit a bit deeper. More spaces were starting to open up because they didn't know how to deal with it. There was at times Fabian Delph was left with 2 people. He couldn't deal with it. And it's a great system because what the wing backs do is it pulls it's supposed to pin the fullbacks back, right? But what it's actually doing, because you're playing Kane, Son, and Lucas, the fullbacks are drifting in, so the fullbacks are not there. So what it's actually doing is pinning their wingers back. So it's a very, very good system. And if their wingers don't get back, like we did, like what we've seen in the match against Everton, Jack, our fullbacks have all the space and time in the world. You know what I mean? So, look, I think it's a very clever system. But, look, I'll get on to it later, but there is something that we're missing in this team that we do need to be able to implement this fully. But it's a very interesting system on what he's doing. It is designed to cause teams a lot of problems. It's a bit like constructive chaos, I would say, to be honest with you.
Definitely so.
It is designed to keep them all pinned back, and I really do like what he's doing, especially, look, with Kane, you know what I mean? He at times he can drop in, hold up the play, get the possession, get turned. And then at other times you're looking for him to go in behind.
Yeah. Which is basically what Eden Hazard was doing. That's what I think it is, really. Is that's why we even found probably, Kane often drifting to the left, which some people seem frustrated with, which, might be, the case. I actually understand why, because, you want him to be in the box. You want him to be that classic number 9. But I think what's actually happening is that he is the most creative of those front 3 right there. And he doesn't obviously have the pace that Sonny and, Lucas have. So he's going to be kind of playing that Eden Hazard role from years past, when Eden Hazard did have basically his best season, in a Chelsea shirt practically under Antonio Conte. So that's why we found Kane, often kind of alternating with Sonny, in those kind of positions there on the left and in the middle. I think it actually could work out to a degree. I think, Kane is actually tailor-made for it, if you ask me. Just going to break down quickly why it's so good defensively. I don't really need to break this down too much, because I think we all know that Antonio Conte's system is very good defensively, because when they're kind of we sat very deep against Everton, and I think we'll be doing that against a lot of teams when they know that they're going to have possession. There's no reason in kind of being risky. You can put maybe probably 9-10 men behind the ball, in those kind of systems. And so that's what basically we're doing here. And then in that way, you can just really see why it's really hard to penetrate the middle, because you have players like Lucas, Sonny, and Højbjerg and Skip basically almost forming like a huge square right there, or almost like, a very impenetrable square, you might say. But also then Skippy, Davies, Reguilon can penetrate and basically hurt anybody that has the ball out wide. Same thing vice versa over on Emerson's side. And then obviously you still can maybe break out really quickly in a counterattack kind of scenario, which is what we saw actually. We're able to counter a lot better than we did, under Nuno's system. I feel like that defensive shape actually allows us to counter very effectively going into the potential 3-5-2, which is, I think, what a lot of people are looking forward to with this one. They really want to see maybe what the 3-5-2 could look like. And everybody, like I said, stay tuned, because we will be kind of breaking down a bit of animations for how it also will work out as well with that 3-5-2 setup. Again, we have the ball carrying center backs of Davies and Romero, but we do have Højbjerg basically playing that, now we're kind of moving to Inter Milan's kind of system, right? Where it's almost actually the 3-5-2 instead of the 3-4-3 that Chelsea were kind of playing, back in the day under Antonio Conte. With the 3-5-2 that Inter Milan had set up with Antonio, you have Højbjerg basically playing that Brozovic role, that Regista kind of role, where you're just spraying balls left and right, David, just being that absolute baller, that tempo setter, that ball playing holding midfielder in there. And I feel like, some people might think it could be Skip, but the reason why I don't think it could be Skip, he just doesn't really have the passing range, I feel like, yet. He's still quite young, still, I wouldn't say he's raw, but, he just doesn't really have that, I think, in his game as much as Højbjerg does. And Højbjerg has struggled, though. So I'm not going to say that's why I kind of put temporary regista there, because I feel like Højbjerg, at the moment, he's not in the best of form. So we might want to bring someone like Brozovic, who's truly tailor-made for that kind of regista kind of role. And then we have maybe Tanguy or Gio. It could be Gio as well, Tanguy or Gio, playing that Metsala role, which is basically that box-to-box kind of number 10 midfielder, someone who gets forward, who also kind of initiates the attacks, can also be a fantastic ball carrier as well, which is important for the Metsala role. Basically, if you wanted to break it down further, it'd be like a Nico Barella role to a degree. And then you have Skip actually, playing that Arturo Vidal role actually in that 3-5-2 setup, which is also kind of a box-to-box midfielder that's kind of like a destroyer, but a good ball carrier, just good technically, just an all-around baller, if you ask me. That's kind of the Arturo Vidal role right there. Again, wing backs always crucial in the system. And you can see that Højbjerg from his position right there is just going to be spraying it left and right to those guys, really dictating the tempo. And then obviously it's a front two of Harry Kane and Sonny, who will be alternating in that system. Before I move on to maybe the defensive shape of it, David, and break that down quickly, what do you think? Could Højbjerg be that regista, or do you feel like we have to get in someone else maybe to do it?
No, look, this is what I was alluding to in my first thing. Look, the most crucial thing in this January transfer window is getting in that ball-playing midfielder, Jack. Look, as good as Højbjerg is, he's a certain type of midfielder. He's a destroyer. He's a ball turner. He turns ball over. He's a bit like Skip. Look, I would say Skip has a decent passing range. He does. Look, he only misplaced, I think it was 2 or 3 passes against Everton. You can't really complain about that. But like what we're talking about, Jack, is someone that can pick up the ball. They can go left with it out to the wing back, go right with it out to the wing back. They can go long over the top for Kane or Son, and it's not a problem to them. They're not stretching. They do it with ease. And this is where we have to go in the market. Once you get this guy to do what you have where Højbjerg is in the team, right? Someone who has that ball. You don't necessarily have to go and get a centre-back, or you're not panicking to go and get a centre-back. And let me tell you why. Because the idea of having that playing midfielder in there is he goes to your centre-backs, no matter what one has it, and he puts himself in a position to take the ball. And because he's comfortable, his first touch is good. It means he can get it out of his feet, he can look up, and therefore he gets you forward. So you will get away in the January transfer window of not buying a centre-back, another ball-playing centre-back, if you get this guy in. And it probably will save you. It probably means you could probably invest the money a bit further up the pitch if you needed to. Because you will get by for the rest of the season once you have that player in there. Because like I said, you're not relying on a Davies or a Dyer to be able to find them passes, even out to the wing backs or into the midfield or over the top, because this guy is the one that comes to gets the ball. He links the defense to the midfield and the midfield to the attack. So that's why it's absolutely crucial we go and get that player. Now, what I will say to people, after the international break, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like this, because I know he's working really, really hard with Ndombele right now. So you might see something like this, where you might even see Ndombele come into this role, Jack, with Højbjerg and Skip either side. But you have to go into the market for that ball-playing midfielder. And I think ultimately this formation is what you will see once Conte gets that. If we do not get this ball-playing midfielder, you can forget about Conte properly implementing what he wants to at Tottenham Hotspur until he gets that. You look at Chelsea, they had Fabregas, when he was there. You look at Juve, I believe he had Pirlo when he was there. You look at Inter, you had Brozovic. He always has that player in midfield that can do that. Because then you can put whoever you want out at wing back. You can have a Lucas Moura at wing back if you want, like what he did with Victor Moses. Because you have that midfielder that he can just bomb up the field. He can play that pass. It's absolutely crucial that we get that in the January transfer market.
Absolutely well broken down there, David. So that is the 3-5-2 setup, everybody. A lot of people have said that basically where Skippy is right now, that could potentially be Weston McKennie, or maybe a Kessié, what you might say is also very, applicable. So I would just say, everybody, maybe, watch that space, where maybe Skippy is playing. And then also, can Tanguy step up to that Nico Barella role, that creative midfielder, that kind of box-to-box number 10? I guess we'll find out. But also Højbjerg, is he maybe the best regista? I think he actually, to a degree, might be better at playing that R2 or Vidal role. Actually, if you ask me, he might actually be better at that than maybe playing the Regista. At the same time, though, I've always loved Højbjerg. Absolutely love his ability. I just am also going to be very honest, though, and I will say his last couple of games have not maybe been his best quality. But let's break down just quickly again, maybe the defensive shape. It's more or less kind of a bit of the same thing. We see that same square that's basically made between Tanguy, Skip, Kane and Son there. And then Højbjerg, it's almost like maybe a diamond, kind of threat again, where you force, the team to really play out wide. You force them to, make it very difficult for them to play through the middle. And then when you actually do play it out wide against us, you can still see that it's very easy for us to maybe break, a team down and kind of take it from them there. And then obviously, again, you can see a bit of the counterattacking potential. I would say no matter what formation it is in Conte's, system, it's always very defensively sound. So the potential 3-4-1-2 setup, which will be very interesting here. And this is maybe the one that I don't know which one I prefer maybe before the 3-5-2 and the 3-4-1-2, because it's not really like Conte's really run the 3-4-1-2 before. So it'll be a bit interesting, but he certainly is tactically flexible. He certainly is. So maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out in the next coming weeks. But in that 3-4-1-2 setup, again, you got your ball carriers out of the back, Romero, Davies. You have Skip basically playing again, maybe in this kind of system, that N'Golo Kante role, that kind of destroyer role. You have Højbjerg maybe then getting forward in this sort of system, when needed, playing that Nemanja Matic kind of role. And then you have Tanguy basically just being the baller that he needs to become, at Spurs, where he can be that box-to-box number 10, maybe given a bit more freedom than the 3-5-2, defensively, to be able to just do whatever he wants. Everything would probably go through Tanguy in this sort of system. And David was talking about maybe Tanguy before in the 3-5-2 playing that Regista kind of role. This to a degree would be, it's kind of weird to say if he would be a Regista role in that number 10, but basically everything would be going through him, kind of like a Regista, where you bring it into his feet. He can spray it left. He can spray it right. He can give it to the strikers and behind. Basically everything would be going through Tanguy, which puts a lot of work on Tanguy, a lot of burden on his shoulders. But I think that's what he's basically been needing and asking for. He's paid enough, certainly, to play this kind of role. I'll tell you that. And he has the talent to be able to play this kind of role. And then maybe when you go up top, it's almost like Kane would be playing a bit of that Lukaku role, but we all know he's not the same player as Lukaku, where he can hold up the ball quite well, but he does it very differently than Lukaku does. And he doesn't really have that threat as much as going in behind. So he probably would drop deeper, which would allow maybe Tanguy to get a bit further forward, maybe make runs, in and beyond Harry Kane, which could end up working out. And then you have probably Sonny almost playing kind of that Lautaro Martinez role, where he's just sitting on the shoulder, waiting from a 1-2 from Tanguy or Harry Kane, and then just getting in behind and just scoring bangers, just scoring goals. But David, I think maybe the real key here is probably Tanguy. In this sort of system, he just has to be on the game. He has to be on the ball here.
Look, if Tanguy comes in, or whether it be Lascelles, whoever it is, whether it is in the 3-5-2 system, Jack, or this 3-4-1-2, whatever extra midfielder comes in, they have to produce. They have to produce, because if not, you're going to see what we've seen against Everton, where Son and Lucas are having to drop back into midfield to be able to create more overloads, just to be able to get out and beat the press. So whether it's Tanguy or Gio who comes in, once they get the ball in that attacking position, there's no reason why they shouldn't be finding the final ball. You have Reguilon, who was so far high, and I'll be honest with you, Jack, against Everton, there was times he was out there as free as a bird. If we had that ball-playing midfielder who could switch that just like that, he would have been in. He would have been in more than what he was. You also have Emerson pushing the high the other side. Honestly, being that box-to-box midfielder, that number 10 in this system, Jack, it's a dream. It's an absolute dream. And let me tell you why. You have Reguilon on one side, Emerson high and wide the other side. What you will also have is most probably Ben Davies or Romero running up, creating that space, because they're allowed to do that in this formation. One of them are allowed to get forward. It's about creating overloads. Then you also have Kane and Son, who are making them runs in behind. One drops deep, one drops to you to give you that option of a 1-2, and the other one goes in behind. And ultimately what you'll end up doing then is pulling that defence two separate ways. If Kane drops deep looking for the 1-2, he's bringing one centre back this way, towards the ball, and if Son runs in behind, he's bringing one away from the ball. So whoever creates that overload, they're going to get time and space on the ball. So it's an absolute dream for whoever's playing in that number 10 role. And once you have the passing ability and a shooting range on it, it's going to be easy. With Skip and Højbjerg in this system, we've seen it against Everton, they kind of move together, and they're still going to have to move together, because What Conte doesn't want is someone being isolated on the ball. So what he's looking for is to keep it 5-10 yard passes when he can and have overloads running off them. But look, whoever plays in that number 10, Skip and Højbjerg are going to have to continue working very, very hard behind them. So they are. My only concern with this one would be, and I'll be honest, it's going to always be in concern when he's in the team, is Ben Davies being exposed down that side if Reguilon gets too high. But I absolutely like this system. Look, I think this one or the one he played against Everton at the weekend, which he started off like this, but then it changed as the game went on. He dropped Kane and Lucas deeper, Lucas and Son deeper and kept Kane further up the field. But this is what he sort of started off the game with. And look, it works. It works. But my only problem is you need to have that number 10 in there with that passing ability. Skip or not Skip, Lo Celso or Ndombele, whoever plays there, they're going to have to come to the fore now and really start producing.
Well said, David. Well said. And just maybe quickly, everybody, let me know in the chat down below, what would you prefer, this 3-4-1-2 system, or would you prefer maybe this, 3-5-2 system here, or would you maybe prefer that 3-4-3 that, we've actually seen so far? Let me know in the comments down below. And maybe if you want to maybe, break it down, maybe, tactics wise, like Sean has here, throw it in a super chat if you like. Sean Snow, thank you very much, Sean. Again, he's saying Pirlo, Pogba, Marquisio. God, I loved Marquisio, by the way. Yeah. But Conte, Fabregas, Pedro, Brozovic, Eriksen, and Barella, 1-6 and 2-8s. Conte didn't play Eriksen until he learned to be a number 8. I mean, Sean, I couldn't say it better myself, because Eriksen, like you've said before, like I've said before, he never really played actually this, Eriksen wasn't playing where Tanguy is right now. And this is why the 3-4-1-2 is a bit of a special one, I would say, because Conte's never really run it like this before. He really hasn't. It's actually been Eriksen. If we were to go back, actually, Sean, which I don't need to tell you because you're telling me right here, but Eriksen was basically playing where Tanguy is right now in this position. He actually trained him to basically be in that position. Once Eriksen was willing to listen to Conte's plans, listen to his sort of tactics, to his sort of setup, that's when Eriksen, was able to get back into the Inter Milan side. But like you just said there, I mean, look at all those world-class midfielders that he made world-class midfielders in his system. And I couldn't agree more, Sean. But honestly, that list right there is just honestly unbelievable. It starts to make me drool, Sean, thinking of those 6s and 8s right there, especially Marquisio. I mean, what a throwback. Absolutely love that guy. And also as well, Sean, again, I don't need to tell you, but, everybody probably knows the best years of Paul Pogba, to a degree, were under Antonio Conte's reign. That's definitely something to be said. So who knows? Maybe Tanguy might find that, kind of a similar form under Antonio Conte. Yeah, Dave.
And it just goes back to what I was saying. Conte is going to rely on us getting in one midfielder in January at the very least, and then another one in the summer. He's going to want 2 midfielders properly to be able to properly implement his playing style. Look, right now the systems that we've showed you and the one that he used on Saturday or on Sunday as well. You're going to see him constantly flip and flop between these formations until January, until he gets this midfielder in. 100% you are, because it's about working with what he's got at the minute.
Well said, actually, again, Dave. But going back to Spurs 72 saying, evening, gentlemen. I hope you guys are having a good one, Jack and David. I hope everyone in the chat is having a great day. Spurs 72, just wishing everybody good vibes in the chat. Wishing David and I good vibes. Spurs 72. I know David's having a good time. I mean, Ireland were absolutely robbed of, 3 points and, the qualifiers there. But, they did put in a spectacular performance. You can kind of see something building up in Ireland. And maybe when you see these kind of tactics being broken down right now, Spurs 72, you can see some potential there. But David, he's just wishing good vibes to everybody in the Harris Army tonight.
No, absolutely love it. Big up Spurs 72. This is what I was talking about earlier on, Jack, with how good the people are in, that are always in the chat and everything else. Just such kind souls. This guy genuinely wanted to make sure we are having a good evening, Jack, and he genuinely hopes everyone else in the chat is having a good day, and he means it as well. It's what it's all about. Big up Spurs 72. Really kind of you, my man. Really kind of you. And we have William Kelly says, Jack, love the way you say Inter Milan. Go on, say it for me again.
Inter Milan. I don't know how I say it. Maybe it's making me overthink it now, William Kelly. Let me know if I said it the same way. Let me know. I'll say it again. Inter Milan. Let me know if I say it the same way that I did before. I should probably say it a bit more Italian. Inter Milano or something like that. But pick yourself up, William Kelly. Let me know if I'm saying it the same way that I was before, because now you're kind of psyching me out here. Maybe I'm probably saying it differently now. But pick up William Kelly, and it's good to see you, my man. It's absolutely brilliant to see you in here. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. But maybe one more time, David, just for the legend William Kelly, Inter Milan. But let me know if I'm, saying it. Maybe it's just kind of my croaky granola voice that's coming through, William Kelly. But maybe that's what you like about it. But pick yourself up, my man. Pick yourself
And
up.
just quickly, Jack, few people are getting in the systems that they prefer. So you have a lot of 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2, 3-5-2, 3-5-2 from Carlos, 3-5-2 from Spurs 72, 3-4-1-2, 3-4-1-2. So a lot of people know 3-4-3. So they're all sold on the 3-4-1-2 or 3-5-2. So very interesting there. Very interesting. We have Moondog. He says Davies, Dyer, and Ali need to go, and also Tanguy.
This is, I would say, Davies. I don't know. This is hard to break down here, Moondog, and also fantastic name, my man. Fantastic name. But Davies, it seems like the reason he's keeping a spot in here is because he has, he's left-footed. That's why he has this system. That's why he's in here, because he's left-footed. He was born left-footed, so he's probably going to keep his spot for that reason, at least as a backup. And then when it comes to Eric Dyer, I really want Eric Dyer out, especially now in the 3 in the back. He seems to look weirdly worse, in my opinion, than he did even in the 4 in the back. We all know also Eric Dyer is fully capable of an absolute atrocity, in defense. As well. Dele Alli needs to go more than the rest of those guys mentioned. I will say he's probably now at the top of the list if you ask me, because, with the 3 in the back, that means fewer midfielders can be selected. Actually, that means fewer midfielders usually can be selected, or, there are just less positions for him or fewer positions available to him. And so he just falls further down the pecking order, which just means you get Dele Alli out. But also as well, everybody, David and I do have a show coming out, which is going to be the fall of Dele Alli, coming out very, very soon as well. So stay tuned for that one, because we will be kind of breaking down what on earth happened to Dele Alli as well. And then with Tanguy, I would say this is maybe Tanguy's last hurrah. This is Tanguy's last chance in order to prove us wrong. So I would say he would be the last one of that list that I would get rid of. David, any thoughts on that?
Look, the Dele Alli one, I've been working on it all day. The fall of Dele Alli, I still have a lot more research to put into it. But I've come to my conclusion on the guy. He has to go. I'll be honest with you, he has to go. Look, hopefully when we do get it out there, and the way we put it out, everyone will realize why he has to go. We're hopefully going to put it in a nice, good order for you. But stay tuned for that. We will get that out there. But look, for me, I don't know how long I've been saying for Davies to go. Dyer, I would sell. But look, I'll be honest with you. I think they're here till the summer at least. I really do believe that. I think the money will go into buying that ball-playing midfielder. Tanguy, for me, last chance. If he's not going to do it under Conte, that's Pochettino, Jose, and Conte. 3 of the best managers in the world. After that, no one else is going to get through to him. Get him gone. But look, I would give him a bit more time than Dele Alli, but I agree with you. I would also like to sell him. I would also like Gio gone as well. I would actually like to see Gio go before Ndombele, to be honest with you. That guy really does my nutting. And Kuvan 99 says 3-5-2, sticking to my centre-back, DM, and box-to-box players to sign.
I know Kuva, you seem to also be a man of tactics as well, a man of tactical now. So I kind of agree with you, Kuva. As much as I kind of really like the 3-4-1-2 system, because, being kind of like Sean, where we both really love Tanguy, we know this would be the best system for Tanguy. I don't think that we really should center around him. We need to make him be able to play that Nico Barella role of that 3-5-2. So I kind of agree with you, Kuva. If you're kind of considering all the players that we have at this moment, I think we go with the 3-5-2, just like you said right there. So big yourself up, Kuva. And I totally agree with you. If I'm considering the whole team, that's what I would go for as well. Also, because the 3-4-1-2 is not too familiar, for Conte. So we would have to make some adjustments, to things that he's not, too comfortable with, you might say. But let's just quickly break down the defense again. This one, I will say, is actually more defensively solid, weirdly. That's just because if Tanguy is, working his ass off, David, in this kind of system, you find it very hard, again, to be able to penetrate the middle, because you still have that same square, made by Sonny, Kane, Højbjerg, and Skip, but then you have someone in the middle kind of going, in and around, making it very difficult for anybody. But as well, though, it then depends on Tanguy's work rate in that system. But the problem, I would say, though, is that if we continue to sit deep in this system, it's actually much harder to actually break out and counterattack in this sort of system. I think it's just weirdly a bit harder for some reason. I can't really explain why. It might just be because Højbjerg and Skip end up being so deep. And then it's, the only people that you really have flying forward is either maybe one wingback or a Tanguy, a Sonny, and a Kane, compared to the other system, which is a bit more fluid and kind of counterattacking in that. So that's all I would say, is maybe this one's harder to break out of. But if you're dominating teams, like let's say we dominate a Burnley, a Leeds, maybe a Brentford and whatnot in possession, I would say this system might be the best one. But Let's go down into the animations, though, Dave. Let's go down in some animations.
Just
Sean
before you
Snow.
do,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, Dave. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I
Sean
was
Snow
saying, yeah.
saying, I do not like the 3-4-1-2. I'm a 3-5-2 man. Sean, I know you're a man of tactics as well. You're a tactical genius as well. So, Sean, you and Kuva, you should put yourself in your own, like almost kind of, what is it, like a tactical think tank, I would say, Sean. You and Kuva, that's where you guys would be found. And definitely, I think the 3-4-1-2, it's kind of a, I don't know. Maybe it works. It's hard to find, even a current system, even in European football at the moment, where it actually, teams are using that. Most teams, they either go for that 3-4-3 or they go for that 3-5-2. And so that's why I would say, Sean Snow, I completely agree with you. As much as the 3-4-1-2 sounds good in theory, I don't think it's probably that realistic at the same time. But maybe it's actually something that, kind of somewhat flows into, when you kind of think about it. Maybe when we are again playing, the teams that will concede a lot of possession to us, will be in a 3-5-2, but eventually kind of develop somewhat into a 3-4-1-2. But completely agree with you, Sean. Completely agree with you, my man. And big
Big up,
yourself
Sean.
up as well.
Big up, Sean. I just want to say to everybody, make sure you smash that like button. Over 200 in-house. Smash that subscribe button as well. Big push to 5K is on. And guys, keep getting your super chats in. It's a great way to support the channel. Do not worry. We do have you covered regardless. We will get everybody's comments up on screen. But look, Jacko, let's get into it. I love these animations.
This is going to be, and I'm going to be able to pause it a lot here, so everybody, so we can kind of, break it down step by step here. But we are going to go into a bit of the animations here in terms of, what we might be seeing in this sort of system. So first, we're starting from goal kicks and all these scenarios, everybody. We do found that, we actually didn't really hoof it long, when it came to our goal kicks. We actually tried to build out the back with a bit of kind of 1-2 kind of play. So we have Eric Dyer receiving it like he did, I believe against Everton. He's going to play it out to Romero's side here. Romero then receives the ball. Romero will then find at least tons of easy options available to him. He's not going to, have to play some sort of hospital pass into somebody's feet. He will find either Højbjerg right there. He'll find Lucas too, kind of dropping deep. And then he'll also find, Emerson in this case, because Emerson has to support. You can't just abandon him, like maybe some players might, in that sort of system. And then what we also find is that since Lucas is dropping deep, it almost forms then a front two, kind of up top between Sonny and Kane. And then Reguilon also will then push high and wide, just to keep that fullback, on the other team from just, kind of cheating a little bit probably there. And so you do find that maybe with one forward in this 3-4-3 system dropping deep, that means the other two can still stay very high and hold those two center backs, accountable and not let them, kind of cheat as well. Since in this system, then Romero has lots of passes available to him. Let's say he goes for the Lucas pass here. Lucas then is going to play it to Højbjerg, who ends up dropping deep, as he obviously does often in this system. Højbjerg drops deep. He sees Reguilon, who's been basically waiting for this switch of play the entire, time. He pings it long to Reguilon. This means also in this system, like I said, when Lucas drops deep like that, Sonny and Kane have to be communicating with each other, at least, even almost telepathically communicating with each other, where they have to alternate. They have to make sure that one is making, a run to show for Reguilon switch and making the receiving the ball here. The other one has to go in behind, and we will be seeing that here. But Højbjerg pings it long, and we tried him. We saw him attempt that multiple times. And then what also happened here is that Reguilon receives it. We see Kane showing for the ball, at the top of the 18. We see Sonny going into the box here. But what we also see is that Emerson as well, which has been mentioned multiple times, ends up actually following up on the back post here. He must be available at that back post. A great example of this was obviously when Emerson did have that, potential header that probably would have gone in if it actually hadn't been, expertly blocked by, I believe, Ben Godfrey at the time. But also another good example that's not even Spurs related would be actually Germany. When you watch Germany, they played in a 3-4-3/3-5-2 kind of system as well, in the Euros. And we saw Robin Gosens was the one that always was at the back post. He was always at the back post, available in case, the ball was hit too long, in case there's a deflection, or in case, he was just wide open on the other side of, the flank there. So it's actually a very, very clever kind of way to go about it, because the reason why it's clever actually is because you end up having 4 players in the box in that kind of system, which basically means that, and then as well as someone out wide, so it's technically 5 players all in the attack there. So when you think about it in that kind of way, the 3-4-3 is actually very dangerous for that reason, because when you do have all those players flying forward, when you do have them basically all kind of showing for the ball as well as getting into the box kind of late, that ends up happening where, like, if they're playing a 4 in the back kind of system, that team that ends up getting really pinned inside their own box. Or as well, what you might say is they end up actually having 4 players marking 4 players. It's almost a 4-on-4 kind of situation there, Dave. So you end up having Emerson here on the back post, like that Everton match, and he just nods it home. And then just quickly, we do see also as well, let's say if this doesn't work out, we actually still see a bit of defensive security where Skip and Højbjerg, like I said in the very beginning, are very intertwined and close to each other. They're not, going too far forward. They're not abandoning one another and whatnot. And then we still have basically the back three as well to be able to defend ourselves. So it's not like we're going to expose ourselves too much in this system. And also when you think about it, let's say we did lose the ball, like maybe Reguilón did a lot. You can also see that we could probably in this sort of scenario win the ball back very easily because we have a lot of players actually pushed up in their half. So if they were to make a mistake in building out from their own defensive line, we can maybe take it even back. But I'm now just going to put it on loop here for everybody. But David, I mean, what are your thoughts on this kind of system? I mean, this is why I think the 3-4-3 is actually very effective, because once you get the ball high up the pitch, you end up having like 4, if not 5 players in the box at one time.
No, it is. It is. Look, even just starting off from where the goal kick was, I've seen this a number of times against Everton. So if it's going out to the right-hand side, you have Dyer and Romero. And the whole idea is you give the ball to Dyer. Romero's there as an extra player to receive it. So he's kind of like the out ball. If you press him, you give it to Romero. Romero then tries to either recycle it into midfield, or else he has the wing-back as an option. But what you also will see, again, is like what you're showing here. Son or Lucas dropping in to be able to pick it up. So if we do get pressed, like what was happening, Richarlison was pressing us, Damari Gray was pressing us, we were getting pressed the other side, Anthony Gordon was pushing up, and everyone else. And what I was doing, it was just leaving Fabian Delph on his own, and we spotted that. That's why Lucas and Son were dropping in deep, because then it was 2-on-1, and they were be able to get the ball in there and get turned. And then once you do get turned and you go forward, Jack, like we've shown here. So what happens here, I think the best way I can explain it in terms of maybe to help people understand what it does to the other team. So once it gets into Sonny here, right, it goes back, it goes out wide to out to Reguilón. But what happens here is, right, when you're getting these 4 players into the box, Jack, when you're getting Kane, Son, Lucas, Emerson, what it's doing is, especially with teams playing 4 at the back, whatever wing back it goes to, they're going to have absolutely loads of time on the ball to put in a pinpoint cross. And that's why they will be working on their crossing, because they're going to have loads of time. Because what happens is whoever, especially here, right, whoever's right back, he's occupied by Lucas here, okay, or by Kane. The 2 centre-backs then are occupied by, say, Lucas and Son. And then the other full-back, he's occupied by Emerson. So what you're doing is occupying all 4 defenders. So Reguilón should have an acres of space, which we've seen, to be able to get the crosses in. So what you're doing is you're completely pulling their defence out of disarray. But what I also seen happen the odd time is Ben Davies floating into that middle. So the option was there to be able to pass it in there, to be able to create shots from outside of the box, which was very, very interesting. So it's a good system. It's very good, because what you're doing is you're beating the press, you're getting beyond the press. They're all caught forward, and you're getting at the back 4 and maybe Fabian Delph. And what's happening is their whole back 4 is took up with all the players there. If it's not, you will have Emerson free coming in at the back post, or you'll have another free player in the box. So it creates overloads in the box. With Ben Davies maybe doing their own forwards like we've seen, that's occupying Fabian Delph. That's creating an overload in midfield. The only thing that would worry me is if our deliveries weren't good against bigger teams and better teams, you probably will be exposed a bit more. But look, when you're playing on the front foot and you're going forward, yeah, you have to kind of still set up a shape defensively if it's a poor ball or they break. And that's what he's done here. That's what he's done with Skip and Højbjerg. Anything that breaks in the middle, they're there to do it. Anything that comes down the left, Davies is there. Anything that comes down the right, Romero is there. You know what I mean? And Dyer's protected. So I think it's a very, very good system that Conte is using. But vice versa, if he goes out the left side to Ben Davies, and this is interesting. So what happens if he goes out to the left side to Ben Davies? He keeps Ben Davies on his own, right? You'll see Reguilón drop back to create what Romero does for Dyer on the right side. But interesting, you see Skip and Højbjerg move over to create the pass into the middle. You know what I mean? Or you see like a Son or a Lucas dropping in deep the other side to receive the ball. So it doesn't matter what side you go with. You can clearly see he's worked on. And you can clearly see we're going to play out from the back. But whether we go left or right with it, he has a system set up to be able to get us out and get us forward, Jack.
Yeah, actually really well said, David. And I think that's what's also important is that Reguilón doesn't actually have to play this ball if he thinks about it. If he wants to just recycle it back there, he certainly can. Maybe going back here when Reguilón does in fact have the ball, he can either, play Kane, who earlier was showing for it. Kane can maybe then receive it, play Sonny, Lucas, or Emerson back post for kind of more of a in-swinging kind of cross when you think about it. That's actually very dangerous for the keeper to deal with. Or if Reguilón in this situation can cycle it through the likes of, Skippy, Højbjerg, and you can kind of retain possession. But then you still have all these players very high up the pitch, which won't allow actually, the opposition to press high, kind of get their shape back in. They'll be pinned inside their own half. And this was also, I do kind of like about the 3-4-3 compared to the other systems. You can really pin a team in their own half if you get forward in these sort of situations. I don't think the 3-4-3 is as good defensively. I think you rely a lot on Skippy and Højbjerg to have fantastic games. But at the same time, I feel like it is quite lethal going forward because you can see these situations. And again, if we just speak about maybe, what kind of makes, the likes of, where Germany didn't necessarily have the greatest of heroes, but we all saw that. I mean, that team is just absolutely terrifying going forward for that reason, because, they really, would have this many players in these situations, going forward. And it just makes it an absolute nightmare for any team to deal with. But I think, David, I think we broke down the 3-4-3, quite well there. Maybe we can move on to the next system here, which is the 3-5-2 buildup. And everybody, again, if you want to stop us at any moment, if you want to maybe break down, maybe something else for us, maybe something that's caught your eye, maybe in terms of these sort of systems, feel free to throw it in a super chat as well. But Dave and I will continue to kind of continue to go on with this, and we'll kind of continue to break down now the potential formations, because what we just saw earlier was 3-4-3, which is what, so far we're used to. But there's been some rumors that we might switch to that 3-5-2. Which definitely I'd be kind of happy about, certainly. And in that 3-5-2 system, we are having Højbjerg playing that regista role for sure. And this time, David, it is going out wide, actually, to Ben Davies. Again, we see the bombing wingbacks with the arrows there, of course. But in this system, again, when you do play it out wide from the back here, David, he has a plethora of options, actually, Davis. He has Tanguy showing for the ball, in that creative midfielder role. He has Højbjerg, again, playing that regista, which is the ball-playing midfielder, the ball-playing holding midfielder. He's always has to be available. Of course, Ben Davies could play it back to Dyer, and then Dyer could probably switch it, to Emerson, or switch it to Romero here, or even Skip potentially. Also, even as well, let's say it's available to him and Ben Davies just has to get rid of it. He can play Sonny in behind. He can play Reguilón in behind. He can also just maybe ping it up to Kane. Kane can chest it down and maybe go from there. So he has lots of options available to him. Tanguy plays a 1-2 with Højbjerg. Højbjerg is going to receive the ball here. And again, as always, especially when it's two up top and only two up top, Sonny and Kane have to be alternating. They have to be kind of, holding each other accountable. There can't just be one that's going in behind, one holding up the play, because that will become too predictable. You have to kind of find it so that maybe they are kind of maybe alternating in this sort of system. We see Emerson here has to push high and wide to, hold that fullback accountable, to hold that center back accountable. Then Højbjerg, again, is just going to have to be the Pierre, the regista. He's going to have to be the pinging Pierre, just pinging balls left and right. He's going to ping it here to Emerson. Emerson here is going to then receive the ball and then go at his defender. He probably, again, like David said before, is going to have acres of space in front of him when you kind of think about it. Again, Sonny and Kane are alternating. Sonny earlier was over there. Kane was back here. They're alternating again. They've alternated twice, I believe, in this sort of animation here. And then what happens here is that what Emerson had is available to him is so many options. He could either cross it early to, somebody, or he could give it to Sonny, who is going to make that run maybe in support right here. Emerson, of course, also has Skippy in front of him. You could also, again, if he needs to, recycle it back through Romero, not to force it or anything. But let's say he plays it to, Sonny here, just inside the box. Sonny here is looking for a cross, time on the ball. He's kind of sizing up his man here. Does he go for the shot? Does he go for maybe the pass across the 6? He goes for a pass across the 6 to Harry Kane. Harry Kane hits it near post inside for the goal. We are going to cycle it back through, though, Dave, just to maybe, kind of go through it again, maybe get your thoughts on it. I mean, what do you like about the 3-5-2 in the system? Again, what I do like about this is that it is actually quite decent to build out the back from. It makes it actually quite easy to build out the back if you have good ball playing players here. But what is brilliant in this system is we do need that somebody playing that holding midfielder role who can just be able to dictate the tempo, ping balls left and right to create opportunities for us.
No, 100%. Look, for me, what I do like about this system, Jack, is you have an extra man in midfield, so it gives you that extra option to be able to play out from the back, an extra option that should be showing for the ball. But what it also gives you as well is like what you were saying here. So, right, say if when it gets to Ben Davies, just pause it for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so what you have here, right, you have the option of Tanguy, you have the option of Højbjerg, you have the option of Kane. You also have the option of Reguilon down that side. I wouldn't expect Ben Davies to be able to square it across to Emerson, so I'll leave him out for a minute. But what it also gives you, Jack, is so you see the midfielders pushing for the ball. You see Kane dropping deep for the ball. Son straight in behind. If you have a good player, if Ben Davies can do it, the option is, if they press you, just curl one in behind for Sonny. That's all you got to do. But look, I think, my conclusion is no matter what system we use, Jack, we have to get that midfielder in January. It's going to be absolutely crucial. Because even if you play it on here now, and even when we do get up into the final third, I'll show you why I think we definitely need that midfielder. So Højbjerg pings it out here to Emerson. Emerson gets the ball. He should have acres of space. But I'll show you where now. So let it go to Lucas, sorry. So here, right, when it gets to Lucas, so if the option for Lucas, say,
or Sonny here.
Or Sonny, if the option for Sonny isn't on to get the ball across, right, it'll have to come back here to Emerson, and it'll have to be recycled through midfield and hopefully over to the other side. That's why we need that midfielder, Jack. We need that midfielder, like I've said before, like a Carrick, like a Modric, where if we do have to recycle the ball, because let's be honest, after a while, teams will suss us out if it's just getting the ball out to the fullbacks and getting the ball into the box. So it's imperative we get that midfielder, because ideally what Conte will want to do is have that midfielder, because with the overlap, with the overloads with the fullbacks, with the three, with whether it's 2 or 3 up front and all the overloads he creates, you can start pinning teams back. You can pin them back in their own half because they won't be able to get out. So that's why if you have that ball-playing midfielder who's comfortable, you can go left, right, you can go over the top for Kane. If he makes little runs, you can chip it over the top. Same for Sonny. So it's absolutely crucial we get that, or we turn Tanguy Ndombele or Gilo Celso into that. It has to happen, because with this system, and I think eventually is, from what I'm seeing, where he will want to go to it, is that he will want to end up pinning teams in their own half. And like I've already explained, when you have your 2 fullbacks up, that's 2 players. You have Kane, Son, and whether it be Tanguy, right? So that's 5 players you have right up in and around. So you should be able to pin them back. Even if they clear the ball, you still have 2 or 3 midfielders or whatever it may be sitting around the edge of the box to be able to sweep it up. So they shouldn't be able to get out their own half. And I think that's eventually where he's going with it. But we need to get that midfielder.
This is why, David, I probably have touted, Bruno Guimaraes so many times, is because you kind of think about where Skippy is. As much as I absolutely love Skippy and rate Skippy, let's say, maybe Emerson or Sonny plays it back to Skippy here because they want to be safe. They don't want to, maybe force something in there. They play back to Bruno Guimaraes, let's say, where Skippy is. Bruno Guimaraes, as we did in our highlight reels, is going to find somebody in that situation. He's going to slip a ball in, to somebody that's making in a late run or someone that is just holding on in their last man. He's going to find that pass or even just recycle it through, like David was saying before, and, hold possession, hold the tempo, keep them, very on their edge, the defensive line. And that's why I do feel like someone like a Bruno Guimaraes would be absolutely brilliant. Kessié, Weston McKennie, I know those guys are also brilliant. I know those guys can be that Arturo Vidal, to a degree. But the reason why I think you go for someone like Bruno Guimaraes, maybe even to replace for Højbjerg is to a degree, is just because, if he receives the ball, maybe where Skippy is, or even where potentially even where Tanguy is, when you think about it, he will find somebody that maybe no one else can see. A great example, as well as another fantastic passer of the ball in world football, is Rodrigo de Paul. I absolutely love that guy who plays for Atletico Madrid. Of course, we can't get him because he just moved there. But when you think about it as well, he receives it maybe where Skippy is, and he would just find somebody in a way that no one else could and create a brilliant opportunity. So you need someone that, I think even David said, someone who almost has that Paul Scholes kind of pass, that's Paul Scholes kind of vision, where you just will find somebody either through the line, somebody slipped in through a through ball, almost like a no-look pass, giving them the eyes, in situations as well, dinking it over the top in a clever way that no one else really can in world football. So that's why you sometimes do have to invest, I think, in maybe a world-class player. But also Brozovic, when you actually consider as well, would not be a bad shout as well. Brozovic has an unbelievable passing range too, an unbelievable vision, and can shoot it from distance, when you think about it too. So wherever Skippy is, you know, in this situation, I think it has to be a brilliant ball playing midfielder. It has to be someone that is just an absolute baller when he receives it to his feet, knows what to do before he receives it, can give a defender the eyes, can maybe, you know, play something that no one else sees, and even play it in a certain kind of quality that no one else sees. But this is the 3-5-2 system, everybody. I will go through. Yeah, Dave. Yeah.
Sorry, there's a super chat here from
Oh, I
Moondog.
haven't seen. Yeah.
He says 210 watching and only 94 likes. Hit that button. Come on, guys. The amount of work and time and research and effort that went into this, you know, and the time that takes. Honestly, these animations take a long time to put together. Come on. Show the appreciation with the like button. Come on, guys. Absolutely smash it. Big up, Moondog. Keeping patrol on the likes. That's what I like to see.
Yeah. And everybody as well, you know, feel free also as well, you know, to check out, you know, our second channel, check out Flat Cap Euro Talk, because, you know, we've been talking about, you know, maybe why we don't have maybe some of the players to even, you know, be doing some of sort of these, you know, kind of formations or these, you know, kind of developments of play and whatnot. So that's why you head on over to the second channel, because we are going through tons of players that can be absolutely class in this system, absolutely perfectly made for this sort of system that we are playing in that 3-5-2. So everybody also check out the second channel, because we can continue to churn out, you know, the videos of players that we do feel like would absolutely fit Conte, that Conte would absolutely love. But David, I think, you know, maybe we can move on finally now to the 3-4-1-2. What do you say?
Yeah, let's go.
In the 3-4-1-2 build-up system, everybody here, this is going to be the final formation, you know, the final kind of build-up play out here with the 3-4-1-2. Again, probably not my favorite of this one, because it does rely on a lot from Tanguy here. We do see, you know, again, we kind of did a bit of build-up from Eric Dyer, Romero, and Højbjerg. Højbjerg swings it wide to Emerson, who's shown a bit of support. Emerson, you know, we don't have the arrows for it because, you know, he kind of went through it plenty of times, but lots of options available to him. He can either, you know, hit Harry Kane here. Maybe if he's really class enough, he can try to maybe hit Sonny, you know, potentially maybe in behind or something like that. But he still has Tanguy, Højbjerg, and Romero in there for support. He goes to Tanguy here in this situation. Tanguy, again, you know, if Tanguy's maybe getting swarmed, getting a bit manhandled or something like that, he again can either play back to Emerson, he can play back to Kane, you know, or he can even maybe just recycle it through to Højbjerg, to Romero, and then, you know, ping it long to someone else. But Tanguy here, he holds up the ball like I know he can. He can give it to Sonny here, who, again, as we've seen, the alternation between the two players there, it's absolutely crucial, because then you're keeping the defenders on their toes. You know, you're making them have to communicate with each other. You're making them have to say switch. You're making them have to say that, you know, someone is going across the pitch there. And Sonny comes across for a bit of an outlet ball. Sonny here is then able to drive at his defender, and we watch all these players somewhat rush into the box and also even, you know, hold the other team, you know, deep in their own half. Sonny then finds Reguilon in the back post in this situation with a brilliant cross here. And this is actually, to a degree, even though it was the 3-4-3 system, this is kind of the cross in the position that Harry Kane found himself in when trying to play it to Reguilon. And Reguilon, again, you know, missed that glorious opportunity when you think about it. But where Sonny actually receives it, and even the run that Sonny makes, is exactly the run that pretty much Harry Kane made when you think about it. To a degree. And Harry Kane, you know, found Reguilon in this situation. It's just Reguilon wasn't able to put in the finish. But I will say, in this 3-4-1-2 formation, it's not necessarily my favorite, because you do end up relying on one player like a Tanguy and Ndombele in this situation a bit more, where it is kind of the situation where Tanguy is just going to have to be on his game. He's going to have to be on the ball a lot. And if you maybe have someone man marking him, which I will say Tanguy's probably pretty decent, you know, if someone is marking him the whole match, because he will be able to turn him like a washing machine, be able to spin him like a washing machine. But at the same time, you know, you are kind of relying on somebody a whole lot. You are relying on somebody to basically be that kind of, you know, key to the ignition for the whole kind of system. So I would say it's not necessarily my favorite, but it is potentially an option. It is potentially an option. But I would say, again, you know, there's so many moments, David, in these systems, no matter which one, the 3-4-3, the 3-5-2, it is, you know, the ability to play quick, fast football. But at the same time, you have lots of players that are available for each other. You have lots of options. You have, you know, you don't have to force it. You know, you can, you know, recycle it back. You can find, you know, an easy person to play it to. You don't have to play a hospital pass.
Yeah, no, look, do you know what it is for this one, Jack? I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't think it's committing as many men forward. For me, I think it's more of a defensive structure, a defensive setup rather than an attacking one, to be honest with you. And look, we all know at Tottenham we're a bit bored of that. Look, yeah, just for me, I just don't like it, lad. I just don't like it. Look, for me, Emerson's not really getting as high as you would like, and Reguilon's not getting, like, Reguilon is high over the other side, but Emerson,
It's a bit
no,
lopsided at times. So it'll find
yeah,
itself a bit lopsided. And also as well, Dave, like you said, and I think I
very
said
easy
in
to
the
counter.
original still image, I think when we broke down the original still image of it, basically we're saying, David, you are relying basically on three players, and one of them is in the midfield, which is Tanguy. Whereas like with the 3-5-2, it's a bit more fluid, actually. It's a bit more fluid. You can kind of find it so that you have two midfielders bombing forward instead of just one bombing forward in the 3-4-1-2. And then
Yeah.
also as well, the wingbacks, can be able to push high. The wingbacks, in the 3-5-2 are a bit more crucial. Where in this system, that the wingbacks can be exposed. I would say the wingbacks can be exposed. It's really not my favorite. If I were to pick between the three, it's probably this one is my least favorite. I kind of agree with you, Dave.
No, I'd agree with you. I think, look, lopsided is the perfect way to describe it, Jack. No matter what wing you go down, you're going to end up with a lopsided formation. And if you're not careful with your passes, teams will take the ball off you. And it's, for me, I think it's very, very easy to break on, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Yeah, it's definitely my least favorite of the three.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Coover99 with super chat. I need a quick drink. I'm getting the hiccups. He says, get those likes in, or Conte'S coming around to your home, and those ketchup and mayo bottles is history.
Honestly, Kuva as well. I will say, I just bought it, a bottle of mayo, considering that, the rest of the players won't be having it. I figured I might, get myself, a few chips, Dave, maybe could bring myself a Tanguy and Don burger in the house, maybe, snack on that. And I will say, what's really sad for Tanguy as well, Kuva99, is, as maybe people know, when you mix mayo and ketchup together, honestly, it makes an absolutely brilliant burger sauce. So I really do feel bad for some of these players. They're not going to be getting, the brilliant Indom burger sauce that we all know well. Maybe even the special sauce is what you might say. It is kind of often a special sauce. So I do feel bad for these players, but I will say you don't want Antonio Conte coming around your house, like Kuva99 says. So everybody hit that like button, because Antonio Conte will be zooming into your house. He'll be checking how much ketchup you have in the house. He'll be checking how much mayo you have. And you also probably, Antonio Conte, will be checking if you even hit that like button, because I know Antonio is absolutely loving this right now. So like Kuva says, another person in the building that you definitely cannot say no to, another person that you definitely don't want to cross here. Listen to what Kuva99 is saying. I will tell you, that guy, he's almost a Peaky Blinder as well, look, so you really don't want to cross him, Dave. You don't want to cross him.
No, big up Coover99. Really appreciate the hiccups. I'm gonna do this super chat, and I'll hand it over to you. I go and get some water. But I agree with you, Kuva. Look, I'll be honest with you. I have every sauce imaginable, so I'll be honest with you. Conte would probably execute me, my man. So. But look, the most important thing, Kuva, you tell everyone, get them likes in. The likes are absolutely crucial with YouTube. It gets you into the algorithm and everything else. So guys, please do get them likes in. Paranormal Yido is a new channel member. Big yourself up, my man. I hope to see you on Mondays for the fan shows.
And also, hopefully, Paranormal, I do believe we will be doing a show this upcoming Monday, as we always do. Last time it was an absolutely huge queue, but maybe this time it won't be as long. So if you really want to get there, nice and first, be able to talk to David and I as long as you like, certainly come on this upcoming Monday if you're available, Paranormal. But as well, thank you for the support, and thank you for tuning in as well. But also thank you for grabbing that membership, and hopefully see you soon, Paranormal. Big yourself up. Lazy 8, Nick in the building, the guy who's honestly been able to be my fairy godfather, giving me this glorious camera, all this glorious setup and whatnot. He's an absolute legend, everybody. So just like I've said before, everybody big the man up. He's an absolute saint. And he said here, dream time scenario for you, Vlahovic and Kane up top with Son as a cam. Would it work? Or maybe Kane as a number 10 and Sonny and Vlahovic, the impaler up top. I would say I'm absolutely drooling over this, Lazy Ed. I'm absolutely drooling over this, Nick. I want Vlahovic coming in right now, because he could basically more or less play that Lukaku role, because we know Harry Kane can't really play it. He would be playing that Lukaku role. He would be the guy that be able to hold up the ball, show the strength. Vlahovic is known for his strength. He's also a bit pacier than people realize. He's actually a bit pacier than people realize. He can get into the box as well. He's an absolute menace in the air too. And I would love to see maybe Harry Kane actually in that scenario playing the number 10, maybe not Sonny. I would see Harry Kane playing the number 10 in that sort of scenario. With the 3, and maybe you actually do the 3-4-3 in that scenario to a degree, and it's actually just maybe Harry Kane kind of dropping a bit deeper, playing those guys in behind. And then Vlahovic kind of doing a lot of that defensive work as well. Maybe Harry Kane wouldn't do potentially, but I really like that actually, Lazy 8. I actually really like that. That's actually an absolutely world class front three going forward, and that's why I think we need to go for someone like a Vlahovic. Go for someone else that's also brilliant. Forward that will challenge Harry Kane or even make it into the first team as well. Someone that will actually be able to challenge Harry Kane, but also make it let's say ahead of Lucas or something like that, someone that can be that third goal scorer. So I absolutely love that. And as well, I will say Vlahovic the Impaler, that's going to be his new nickname. It's, he's going to be, Vlad the Impaler, that's going to definitely be it. He's probably, going to have to maybe even, be kind of a bit of vampire-esque, be a bit Hungarian. He is Serbian though. Maybe that guy Vlad the Impaler was Serbian, but I'm thinking he was maybe Hungarian, but I could be wrong. But big up Nick Lazy. I absolutely love it. Vlahovic, the Impaler, absolutely love it. But David, I mean, what do you think? Could maybe Harry Kane play the number 10 if you put maybe Vlahovic and Sonny up top?
Do you know what? We've
Sounds
always said
tasty.
we said it under Jose Mourinho. That Harry Kane. We have that option with him now. We know he has that passing range, so you can play him as a cam, not a problem, and you can play Sonny and Vlahovic up front if you wanted to. But what it does do, if you do bring in a Vlahovic, say, it just gives you that option. It gives you that option each week. To be able to, you could put Son there, put Kane and Vlahovic up top. You could put Son and Vlahovic, Kane and Son. Bring someone else, you want. But what it does, it gives you options. It gives you options. For right now, look, if things aren't falling Kane's way, we are lacking your creativity, put Kane in the number 10. And what it also does, it means Kane should be getting the ball facing the goal, which is where he's most lethal. This guy can shoot from distance as well. So it probably gives you a few extra goals, coming from outside the box. It gives you a threat from outside the box, because if you do have Kane playing in that number 10, defenders will be very, very quick to come out and close him down. And it'll open up space for Son and Vlahovic. So it'll be absolutely ideal. But I'll be honest with you, I want my main man up front. I want Kane and Vlahovic up front with Son as the cam. Big up, Nick. Big up. What a legend.
He's going with your original suggestion there, Lazy 8. And honestly, as well, everybody, Nick, and I'm telling you personally, you're an absolute saint, my man. You're an absolute saint, an absolute legend. Paul Markey here is saying we need big changes in the midfield to play these systems. Højbjerg and Skip. Højbjerg with Skip isn't good enough. They're too alike. Need Kessié as a 10 for it. I think that's kind of been the thought on everybody's mind, Paul. As much as, we probably want to say that Skippy and Højbjerg are different, they are a bit too similar. I think Skippy is going to become a world-class midfielder. I even kind of sort of agree. I don't know if, maybe we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but I do sort of agree that maybe over time, Skippy will kind of become an even more all-around, at least a more even versatile or, just more skilled midfielder than Højbjerg can. Maybe Højbjerg has more limitations than Skippy. I think at the moment, I think Højbjerg has more to his game than Skippy does, but that's not any slight towards Skippy. The guy's still so young and still has so much career ahead of him. But that's probably a good shout. And that's probably what a lot of people are kind of thinking at the moment, is they're just too similar to each other. They're kind of two similar destroyers, really like to get stuck in. They probably just absolutely just, we said it before, David, they love to send bone fragments flying, when get stuck in. They love to give everybody the Højbjerg shoulder, the Viking shoulder. I think one of them's the English Viking. The other one's the Danish Viking, if you ask me personally. But I feel like I totally agree with you. We need someone like a Kessié in. And also with Kessié, he can play that Arturo Vidal role. He can just basically be, that box-to-box midfielder and be that absolute baller that we need in the middle of the park in this system. And then as well, I would probably bring in still someone like a Brozovic to play that regista role when you need him to, when you need someone to be that person that can just swing the ball from left to right, to be that tempo setter, to be that ball playing holding midfielder. I'm not sure Kessié can do that as well as other players out there. I think Kessié is more that all action kind of midfielder. That guy can wander into the box, get goals. That guy can also, kind of beat his man, just be absolutely class. But I don't know if I think you're almost wasting him if you put him in that kind of holding midfielder role. I think you need him playing that kind of box to box, Arturo Vidal almost kind of like role. So I feel like Kessié is the answer, but I would still say if I'm spoiled, probably still getting someone like a Brozovic or Bruno Guimaraes in as well. So, David, anything to say to Paul?
Yeah, look, do you know what? For me, I don't like putting down Skip and Højbjerg, and I'll tell you why, because they're specialists.
I love it.
They're specialists at what they do. They're absolute specialists at what they do. They turn ball over you. They're bone crushers. Like you said, Jack, they send bone fragments everywhere. You know, they're absolutely crucial at what they do. I'll be honest with you. Direct your hate at the people that were brought in to do it. Dele Alli, Lo Celso, Ndombele, players that have come in that were brought in to do it and haven't done the job. They were brought in to be the passing options. Look, I just don't like seeing a lot of people putting Skip and Højbjerg down lately. It's just,
when they've been our best players.
And saying they're not good enough. Because if you put in the right midfielder, which we have already spent over 100 million to try and get, put them in between them two to be that deep line midfielder, to be able to take the ball. They're good enough to be in our midfield. They are, because you have that other option. You know, you have that ball playing midfielder. But it's not that Skip and Højbjerg aren't good enough. It's the fact that we spent over 100 million to get in a player in that position, and the players we bought for it just haven't done anything. So for me, I'd be looking at it like that rather than just saying Skip and Højbjerg aren't good enough. I get what he means in terms of the system and what Conte wants is trying to do, but they're specialists at what they do. But it's not that they're not good enough. It's the fact we spent over 100 million and then players haven't come to fruition.
That's actually a bit of a mic drop there, David. That's a bit of a mic drop. I actually completely agree. We brought in Tanguy. We brought in Gio. To basically do exactly what was just mentioned by David, and they both haven't been able to do it. And also maybe it just falls on Steve Hitchen for thinking that maybe those guys can sort of do that. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, they should be able to. They should be able to. That's why we brought them in. But Paul Markey, I also kind of see where you're coming from. Maybe they're too similar. I guess in the system that we're playing right now, what the problem is that we're relying on Skippy and Højbjerg to do what Gio and Tanguy should be doing. And most managers seem to be thinking that you're just better off asking one of them to do something that they're uncomfortable with than to risk it with Tanguy or Gio. So just says a lot about those players, as well as says a lot about Dele Alli, which how much you need to cater to him, you know, to put him in the right position as well. So Paul Markey, I see where you're coming from. William Kelly saying, when I was putting tomato sauce on my son's burger for dinner, I had to look over my shoulder to make sure Conte wasn't coming out of the pantry to headbutt me. That's a COVID-99 comment right there. That's a COVID-99 comment. But William Kelly, just making sure, you know, your son, I'm sure, you know, he's probably plenty, you know, he's a kid at the end of the day. You know, William Kelly, he needs that mayo and, you know, ketchup. He needs that Indom burger sauce in that burger. Might as well treat him. You know, he's your son at the end of the day, William Kelly. Don't give him the Antonio Conte treatment. You know, he doesn't deserve it, William Kelly. No, he doesn't deserve it. But definitely, I would keep a lookout in case Antonio Conte is looking around your pantry. Maybe you hear, you know, a few things wrestling in that night, you know, around the kitchen. You're probably thinking, you know, is it the missus? You know, is it, you know, maybe my son going for a late night snack? No, it's probably Antonio Conte, you know, trying to raid your fridge to make sure that all the mayo and the ketchup is gone. So I would keep a lookout, William Kelly. I would keep a lookout.
William Kelly, I wouldn't be afraid of him coming out the pantry, my man. What I would be afraid of is you'll put the sauce on, you'll hear a growl, you look up and he'll be there stuck to your skylight with two plungers, my man. You know, looking down on you. That's what I would say, you know, Conte would be like. But honestly, you see Spurs fans worldwide now, you know, they're going
got to pick up this package, sorry.
They're going into Chippers, they're ordering you know, they're ordering burgers and whatever else, kebabs and everything else, and you hear the waiter, they want sauce on that, and it's like, you know, it's like a taboo subject. You're asking them to shh, and then, you know, just kind of give them a little wink. You know, you don't even want to say yes because you're afraid Conte will come out and kill you. But big up, William Kelly. Really appreciate the support. Good comment, my man. Good comment. I like that. It's funny. And he says, Vlahovic has already signed. At least I keep telling myself that. Look, I would love this guy to come in. I think he has all the attributes to succeed in the Premier League. He's big. He's physical. He's an absolute specimen, to be fair. You know, you could put balls into the box for him all day long. You know what I mean? You're going to cause a problem. And he's a bit of a different option to Harry Kane. And he knows where the net is. He scores goals at the end of the day. You know, he's had a remarkable rise at Fiorentina. And look, I really do hope we sign him. I really do. To say that he's done already, I don't know about that, William Kelly, but look, I'd agree with you. I think we'll keep telling ourselves that. That's for sure, my man.
Sorry, guys. I was sprinting for that. Like Tanguy was sprinting for his Uber Eats order, probably his last one. But, you know, when I'm alone by myself in New York, you know, they do ring in the buzzer and, you know, had to let someone in that's probably letting in a package or something. So do apologize. But William Kelly, and like Nick said before, I mean, Vlahovic, I think Nick said before, Vlahovic is a freight train when it comes to getting into the box. He's an absolute menace. So I totally agree with you. William Kelly, big yourself up, honestly, for that original super chat. There's a COVID-99 worthy super chat right there. And I know, that's the highest of praises as well. That's the highest of praises. So big yourself up, William Kelly. Paul Markey saying, together they are a solid defense, but kill creativity. David, what do you say to that?
No, look, I get it. I get what you're saying. But what I'm saying is let's not stop saying that Skip and Højbjerg aren't good enough. My point is that we spent over 100 million to be able to bring in a player to do what they can't do. That was the thing. We've brought in players to do what they can't do, to make up for what they can't do. At the end of the day, the reason why Skip and Højbjerg keep getting picked is because they're the most industrious. You know, they may lack some of the passing ability, but at the end of the day, you're guaranteed that they're going to perform most weeks, most games. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you put an end on Belly, you don't know whether he's going to perform. You look at Newcastle, best player on the pitch. You look at United when he came on, he was instructing everyone to pass it away from him. And if the ball did come on his side, 2 minutes later, or sorry, not even 2 minutes later, I blink and he's on the far side. On the far side, I'm like, how did he do that? You know what I mean? You look at the Celso, he gets into all the right positions. He can't finish and he can't pass. So what's the point of him being there? You know what I mean? He doesn't do the basics correctly, Lo Celso. He's just too lazy. He doesn't want to do the basics correctly. That's the problem. He doesn't take care of the ball. He's too loose on it. He's too erratic. And look, I do get what you're saying. They do kill creativity. Of course, we have to bring in a player to do it. But my point is let's stop saying Skip and Højbjerg aren't good enough. You know, Skip has come in to do a job. He does tremendous at the job he was asked to do. Højbjerg was brought in to be that anchor man in midfield to turn over ball by Jose Mourinho. It's what we bought him in to do. We were lacking that. We bought him in specifically to turn over ball in midfield, to be that guy. Look, I actually do think Højbjerg, his passing range is good. Look, he's been a bit off the boil lately, but when he is on form, he does have a good passing range. I agree with you. We do need to get someone in. But let's stop saying Skip and Højbjerg are not good enough. Let's start getting on to Lo Celso. Let's start getting on to Ndombele. Dele Alli. Over 150 million worth of talent there. Can't create a goal. Anytime they're given a chance, you don't get a performance out of them. So let's get on their cases. Let's not put our players down. And it's no coincidence that, you know, Nuno and Conte'S picked them because they know they're reliable. Reliable is the key word here. They know what they're going to get. So, look, we have to buy in that player, but put your hate elsewhere. Stop tearing down the players that are actually putting in the performances and start having a go at the players that aren't.
Maybe I completely agree actually with what you said, David, but maybe just to be devil's advocate towards Paul, maybe he's just saying, you know, that's the problem is that you're asking maybe too much of, you know, Højbjerg and Skip. You're asking, you know, them to do things that maybe aren't their best attributes, aren't their best skill sets. So I can actually see where both of you are coming from. I completely agree though, David. You know, we really shouldn't be slamming Højbjerg right now when he's had, you know, the first maybe 2 bad games in a row, probably in his entire Spurs career so far. And then as well, you know, in the case of Skippy, who hasn't maybe also shown as much as we would like as well, you know, we shouldn't really also be slamming them because we are asking them to do maybe more than probably they're potentially capable of, which says nothing about them. It actually says more about the players that aren't being played at this moment in time. It says more about the players that are being left on the bench, which are the Gios and the Tongis of the world. Completely agree. Kuva99 says, to be fair, I agree with Paul Markey. We've accepted mediocrity for years now, and that's why we've fallen to the position that we're in no longer. Completely agree, Kuva. And that's why we're even talking about, you know, bringing in, you know, certain players that, you know, are of that quality that we're talking about. We're no longer have to settle. You know, we're talking about bringing in Brozovic. We're talking about bringing in Kessie. You know, maybe we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but that would be absolutely sensational. These are players I never would have thought I would have worked with. Even as well, Kuva99 as well. You probably have seen me, you know, always pulling these, you know, players out of like a rabbit hat, you know, kind of situation, you know, saying, oh, we could get this player under a Levy budget. We could get this player under a Levy budget. Even that original thing I did with Darius where I was like talking about bringing in like Wataru Endo and like Jefferson Lerma, you know, because that's all I had left in terms of, you know, my money. And now I can talk about bringing in Brozovic, which is just unbelievable. I feel like now we're no longer settling for mediocrity. We're talking about bringing in the right sort of players. We're talking about bringing in the right players that can actually fix our problems, not just alleviate them, but actually fix the problems that we're having, you know, and that's what I'm absolutely loving. What do you say, Dave?
Look, I'm not disagreeing with Paul Markey. I absolutely agree that we do have to bring someone in. But the only part I was disagreeing with is saying they're not good enough. Look, in midfield, you buy 2 types of players. You buy ball-playing midfielders and you buy ball-winning midfielders. Okay? Now, I've grown up at a time watching Spurs where for years, I mean years, we lacked the person in midfield who could turn over the ball and win a ball. We lacked it. So let's not forget about that. Let's not just exclude Højbjerg and Skip. This is what I'm saying. At the end of the day, they're brought in to be ball winners. Now, we have Winks, who's a ball player, Dele Alli, who's a ball player, Lo Celso, who's a ball player, and Ndombele, who's a ball player. But yet none of them can come in and play a ball consistently. You know, and there's a reason why we keep going back to our 2 defensive midfielders who turn over ball. It's because we already have players at the club who are not good enough. My point is I fully agree we need to get in somebody. I've said it loads of times. I've said we've 4 midfielders I've named there. all at the club to do a job and can't do it between them. Four. So they have to go. But it's not Skip and Højbjerg's fault that they find themselves in the system because they're reliable, they're dependable. Let's stop saying they're not good enough. Look, at the end of the day, we have 4 players in specialist positions that aren't producing. We have 2 players that were bought in to turn over ball. They find themselves in the team because they're consistent. I fully agree that we do need to buy a player, but let's stop saying they're not good enough. Let's stop putting them down. At the end of the day, they play week in, week out for us and play their hearts out.
When you also can actually consider it, let's take us back, I think, 4 or 5 months from now, I think last season, the reason why we were so excited about Skippy coming in is because he could alleviate Højbjerg. Like when Højbjerg needed a rest, when Højbjerg, maybe needed a break, when because we were playing Højbjerg every match, and also on top of the Euros. I mean, the guy, honestly, seriously, we were abusing him with how much he was playing. The reason we wanted Skippy in is because he could help out Højbjerg when Højbjerg probably needed a rest. It wasn't that so they would play at the same time. It wasn't so they would be both playing together. So that was maybe a bit of the issue here, is that we're now playing them all the time together because we know that at the moment is, to a degree, the best midfield pairing. And that's probably not what we would have said last season. We probably wouldn't have said that last season. We were probably saying, Gio is going to be able to play alongside Højbjerg. Oh, Tanguy's going to play alongside Højbjerg. Maybe even Dele Alli could play alongside Højbjerg. And to a degree, 2 managers in a row, at least so far, as well as, Jose didn't have that option. But, Nuno and Antonio Conte seem to still think that, Skippy and Højbjerg are the best available. And that says a lot, actually, about not Højbjerg and Skip, but it says a lot about Tanguy and Gio. And so, I don't know, maybe take ourselves back to that time period when we thought that Skippy was more coming in just to help out Højbjerg when Højbjerg needed that rest. And now we're playing them, we're practically abusing them and, giving them too much playing time, or, making them, have to do everything when there are players sitting on the bench, making more money than even them, that are just not even there to do anything.
Yeah, and do you know what, Jack? Look, the ideal midfield is Dembele and Wanyama. Okay, one destroyer, one guy who's a ball player who can pick up the ball, pass it, or bring it from one end of the field to the other. Now, we have Skip and Højbjerg, who I ideally, like you said, would rotate. But then you have 4 other players there who are sitting there doing absolutely jack shit, who are not doing their job. It's not Højbjerg's and Skip's fault. They find themselves in there because 4 ball-playing midfielders cannot play football. At the end of the day, we have to go with what's right for the team. Once we bring in that ball midfielder, you will see them rotate. You will see Skip and Højbjerg drop in and out for each other. But that's the ideal scenario. But the reason why they're playing now is because they're the most dependable and most reliable. Paul Markey says, David, why can't Doherty play for Spurs the way he plays for Ireland? I don't know, man.
Maybe because he's not wearing the number 10, it seems like, maybe that's what he needs. He needs the number 10. Paul Markey will say, I was absolutely shivering, absolutely cringing the whole time, seeing him wear the short socks, the small shin pads, and then also wearing the number 10. I thought I was looking at Jack Grealish, for a moment. I really did, honestly. It really was, kind of embarrassing. I thought maybe Jack Grealish, came to his senses, decided, listen to his Irish grandmother and head on over to Ireland. But no, that wasn't the case. I was looking at Matt Doherty on the wing. He seemed to have a pretty decent game. I will say maybe the pace wasn't there at times. Maybe if I were to really be critical, it seemed like, we were really missing that athleticism from him. At the same time, though, he's very calm, cool, collected on the ball, seemed to, be able to retain possession actually quite well, which we haven't said about Doherty before. I completely agree. He seems to be, complete opposite of himself, David, when he's playing for Ireland at times. But then again, though, maybe I'm wrong. Actually, you've said that was his first, good match in some time.
Yeah, look, maybe the second one. He had a decent game out in Portugal, to be fair to him. But like the rest of the time with Ireland, he's been absolutely crap. You've seen what he's done. You've seen exactly in an Ireland jersey what he's doing at a Tottenham jersey. Yeah, he gets the ball out wide. He won't attack the space when it's there. And usually when he passes inside to be able to make the overlap and run outside, he can't pass to a man in the same coloured shirt. Look, I get what you're saying. Why can't Doherty play for Ireland the way he does for Tottenham? But let's be honest. He's had 2 good games for Ireland, and both against Portugal. All the rest of the games he's been crap. Don't get me wrong. Earlier on in
Portugal's bogey, man.
Yeah. And the other one he played left wing back, believe it or not, Jack. Left wing back. That's interesting. Yeah. But look, the thing is with Matt Doherty, earlier on in his Ireland career, we were playing him right wing and playing Coleman right back and stuff like that. But I'll be honest with you. Yeah, he played well today. He played well in the last game against Portugal. Paul Markey, apart from that, I don't believe he's played well in really any other games. Even I think there was a game against Andorra, he was absolutely shocking. The rest of the team were good. Young Jason Knight was 19, he was outstanding. Doherty was absolutely crap.
I saw him get destroyed by Azerbaijan when you guys had that, that draw away, or that draw at home against them. He looked absolutely useless. But yeah, Paul Markey seemed to actually be maybe Portugal's bogeyman, which is kind of insane that I'm even saying that out loud. But he also says here, what I mean is Højbjerg and Skip are backup for one another to play on for the other. That's what I mean. It's exactly what we were touching on, Paul. So, maybe we just misread you there. And we got there eventually, Paul, and thank you for putting them in super chats. But we got there eventually, and you're on the same line as me, is where take ourselves way back into the latter end of the season under Jose. We were so excited for Skip because he was going to be that person that could help out Højbjerg when Højbjerg needed that rest, to give him a rest. And now we're playing them. Now we can't even afford to give either of them a rest at this rate, which is not what we anticipated or wanted. And that's maybe just the most frustrating part. And it just says so much about the other players. But Paul Markey, clearly, I don't need to tell you because that's what you meant. So big yourself up also as well for all the support. And also, Paul, thank you for also, having that nice little kind of, moment where, David and I got to kind of explain, maybe put a little bit of respect on, Skippy and Højbjerg, again. So big yourself up, Paul. We were able to get there, like David said. Big yourself up, my man.
Legend, Paulie, legend. He's a good guy, Paul. He's a good guy. I spoke to him before on the phone. Ring me again, Paulie, if you're ever up for a chat, my man. Do ring me again. Big yourself up. Cuva99 says, Jack, spot on. Look at the jumping quality we're now looking at on Flat Cap Eurotalk. Looking at great players instead of bargains. Hashtag the Conte effect.
Oh, it really is, Kuva. I'm almost finding myself to be kind of more, kind of useless in that regard, Kuva, because before I used to find players, like I said, I'd kind of pull out my rabbit hat and, kind of find players that no one was ever thinking of, kind of like look for the depths, of players that no one would ever thought of. I was working under a Levy budget. Even when I started my own, FIFA career mode, I really was torturing myself where I was actually getting Levy signings and not, real like marquee signings that we all want. I was torturing myself even in FIFA as well. So Kuva99, it's an absolute blessing now to be, doing this on the second channel. And also as well, the engagement that I'm getting also as well in the comments. People are recommending players that are like, Jesus, I would know. Normally I would never be, talking about that player. That's a bit unrealistic. And now it is realistic, which is kind of insane. And so plenty of other players I have, already ready to go that I will be recording. The Sven Botmans of the world, maybe a bit of a Robin Gosens, which be kind of crazy as well. We're also talking about bringing in maybe potentially, I'm thinking as well, if we don't get Alessandro Bastoni, maybe Paul Lopez, could be, an alternative for that left-footed, center back. Also plenty more, of course, plenty more. But big yourself up, Kuva99. It's actually been a lot more fun actually doing it with these players that, are kind of more of actual ballers, more world-class kind of players, instead of maybe the Levy class players that I've been looking at before. So Kuva99, completely love it. And it's a lot more fun actually maybe doing it. I do kind of have a bit of fun doing it with more of the budget signings, because it makes me have to work a bit harder. But definitely love it, Kuva99. I'm glad you're enjoying it, my man.
What I will say quickly to Kuva and Paul is you will get your wish actually against Leeds. Something's after popping back into my mind. Skip is suspended, so one of them ball playing midfielders are going to have to come in and hopefully they perform. So we'll see if it looks any better. But big up, lads.
But the Conte effect is in play. The Conte effect is in play. And the Conte effect has even taken its effect on our second channel, flatcapeurotalk. That's how much an effect it's taken. Dermot with another big one, again, saying time is now right to fix this once and for all. In Conte we trust. We have half a team. There's just getting rid of the shite and bring in the best. Let's get this team going. We will rise again. We will win cups again. Come on, you Spurs. That is motivational, everybody. Everybody big up Dermot in the comments because that's the motivation the whole Harris Army needs. At the Conte effect, we're getting the trophies. We're bringing in, the quadruplo, as, Kuva has said before. And also as well, we're finally bringing in, the players that we need. And also, we started maybe before where we kind of accepted mediocrity. There's no reason to accept mediocrity anymore. We're accepting world-class players. And we're also now going to hold the deadweight even more accountable than ever before, Dermot. The deadwood is going to be held even more accountable. Probably now with the Conte in charge, the deadwood list has gotten even longer when you think about it than it was before. But what do you say, David? I mean, Dermot, again, bringing in that motivation, talking about getting rid of the shite players, talking about getting in the right players to fix this team, and also saying Spurs will rise again, as he always says. The guy that saw the light at the end of the tunnel, he now has Conte in the building. Dermot's almost, he's almost predicted it.
Yeah, no, look, he's singing off the same hymn sheet as me. I wonder, does he go to the same church? Big up, Dermot. But no, look, look, it's about time. Over the last couple of years, we failed managers with some of the dross we've had. Let's be honest, we failed Pochettino. Some of the players were going, and we never replaced them. We left them working with Winks, Sissoko, Davies, players like that. Shocking. You know what I mean? We failed Jose Mourinho. He had an even worse squad again than Pochettino. Nuno, I believe, look, we got rid of as many as we could for him and brought in 4 players. He probably should have done better with what we have. But look, Conte's here now. There's nowhere to hide. You won't be seeing Doherty, Winks, Lo Celso, Davies. You won't be seeing him in the dark corners of the training ground because they'll just be gone. You don't pull your weight, you're out here. End of Belly. If he doesn't pull his weight, he's gone. I'm sure if Kane doesn't buck up his ideas, he might want him gone. We'll wait and see. But at the end of the day, what we can guarantee is, come next season, we're going to have a starting 11 of players that are going to be at it from minute 1 to minute 91. And you're going to see them run about for the whole 90 because, the 3 fitness coaches he's brought in. And most of all, you're going to see them play with passion and desire for the fans. And what Conte will bring is that connect with fans and players and squad again. He'll bring that again. That's something that's been missing. Something like what was under Pochettino, You kind of lost it under Jose, went wayward under Nuno. But Mason couldn't do it, but Conte will do it. We will all, clubs, fans, players, manager, will all be singing off the same hymn sheet again. Look, Conte's the second coming of Christ. There can only be great things, happening after that, Dermot. Look, we will rise again. We will win cups. This is one message I constantly tell people. Look, in life, there's good times and bad times. With the bad times, you have to roll with the punches. You learn your lessons and you move on and you get the good times. And then good times, you prolong them with the lessons you learn from the bad times. And that's what life is about, Dermot. We will rise again. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Legend, Dermot. And also as well, guys, he did say when we were at our darkest depths, our darkest moments just a few weeks ago, he was the guy that was saying there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's a hilarious joke. I think someone's saying, I think you mean that's the train that's headed right for us. No, he saw past it. He saw past it all. He saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And he's continuing to show us here. And honestly, Dermot, like always, absolute legend, real brother and real friend of this channel, real OG, an absolute GOAT. He's an absolute GOAT. Big yourself up, Dermot, legend. True Sets Free, though, has just arrived. And he's saying we'll have to watch back. God bless. True Sets Free is honestly a huge, new member of the family as well, David. It feels like we've now known him forever, though. It feels like we've known him forever here, but he's an absolute legend, and he's honestly a huge friend as well. And I can't wait to get to know him more. And also, he's going to watch this whole thing back. So pick yourself up, maybe enjoy it, with a few beers or something like that. Maybe just with, maybe that, burger sauce that we were talking about, earlier. We were talking about a lot of ketchup and mayo. Maybe you got a bit of ketchup and mayo in the fridge. Hopefully Antonio Conte hasn't found it yet. True Sets Free. You'll be hearing all those jokes, but big yourself up, my man. And also thank you for coming in. Also as well, David, he always throws in the 24 because that's his favorite number. And I don't know how he does it, though. It's actually very impressive, but big yourself up, my man. And also thank you for tuning in. And always thank you for the support.
No, what a legend. Look, I can see him and the Truth Sets You Free and Jack rounds of golf, once a month or something like that. You can see them now. They talk a lot about golf lately. But big up Truth Sets You Free. Honestly, look, this time I'll give you a pass. Look, the first 2 times for being late, it's a strike. And then the third time, there's a punishment. So, I know, but big yourself up, man. I appreciate you tuning in. You were there for the watch along as well.
Stylishly late, like Antonio Conte did. He's Antonio Conte style late. The Conte late. That's what you say. Conte late. But big yourself up. True Sets Free. But David, I think that's all we have. That's it, everybody. Those are the Conte tactics broken down. Just as a bit of a recap, we did the 3-4-3 system, which we all plenty are aware of. Maybe we're going to continue to get more used to it, maybe get to know it a bit better. We broke down what that looks like and what maybe we could go with that for the time being. We did the 3-5-2, which is potentially the new formation that we might be going into. Yeah. We explained that as well. And then we also maybe just as might, because I think it was mentioned by Ali Gold, we did the 3-4-1-2 as well. So all 3 formations, 2 of them potential formations that we might switch to. We did recap, but that it will be all for tonight, everybody. Again, I am going to plug this in. into the chat here. It is, maybe a good time maybe just to say, because we're saying, we can't do this with the players we have at the moment as well. But wow, True Sets Free with a big one here, an absolute big one. He says, "Big yourself up, my man." Says, "Let's be honest, the truth will set you free, and the truth is something special is happening here. Everywhere we go, it's Tottenham boys bringing Conte noise.
Everywhere we go.
It's Conte noise now. It's Conte noise. But big yourself up, and the truth has set us free. I think it's already set us free, my man. It really has. And but David, maybe while I just toss in the link and everybody say something, the truth sets free. An absolute legend. He was vibing out with you in the Ireland watch along. He's just become, like I said, David, an absolute brother of the channel now, an absolute goat as well.
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I picture Truth Sets You Free as a guy. He's standing on top of a mountain. And he's just screaming out on top of the mountain. The truth will set you free. It takes a big load off him, and he comes down a new man. I reckon that's the guy Truth Sets You Free is. But no, absolutely love it. Look, the truth will set you free. Everyone knows. You keep in a secret, or not even a secret, or you tell a lie. Those good people, it really, really weighs on them. And, eventually to come out with the truth and it sets them free. So I absolutely love the name. It's absolutely brilliant. But look, something special is happening here. That is the truth. It's not all going to happen this season. You'll see maybe come the end of the season, it'll kind of get you excited going into the new season. And when the new season rocks around, Tottenham Hotspur will be back, baby. And that's what it's all about. Big up the Truth Sets You Free. What an absolute legend.
He's a legend, but I just want to big him up one more time, David. He's honestly excellent to vibe out with in the chat as well. Talking everything from, a bit of, kind of Massachusetts, Ireland heritage, to a bit of, kind of golf as well, to also just having a bit of banter about Spurs. He's just honestly, he's class. He's absolute class. And really thank you for all the support that you've continued to give us. Truth Sets Free really goes a long way. Really helps David and I a lot on this journey.
I like it because he talks about golf and not cricket. If he talked to me about cricket, I just have to say, come on now, let's pick a sport. You know what I mean? The fact that I can tolerate golf, so big up.
Yeah, but honestly, it's good to vibe out with you, my man. And also really thank you for all the support and helping David and I on this dream of ours. And really, it really goes a long way, my man. So really appreciate you. Really do appreciate you. William Kelly, though, another person that's really helped us out and honestly is an excellent person to vibe out with as well. Saying, be careful, guys. Don't put all your eggs into one basket. Somewhere the bald fucker will F this up. He certainly will. And also, I am still worried. We still have to realize that, maybe it was a gentleman's agreement on the 150 million, that's, promised. Maybe it's a gentleman's agreement on the 100 million promised. I'm not too sure. I really do, feel like, it's almost too good to be true. It almost sounds too good to be true, but maybe that truth will set me free, like we said. But pick yourself up, William Kelly. And honestly, I'm plenty aware. Just like I'm looking over my shoulder for Antonio Conte, maybe stealing my ketchup and mayo. William Kelly, I'm also looking over my other shoulder, make sure that Levy, isn't maybe ruining my day and ruining, my January transfer window. But pick yourself up, William Kelly.
No, big up William Kelly. What an absolute legend. Jack, drop that channel in there one more time, my man. Drop it in there one more time. The Truth Sets You Free said, smoked too much weed during the Ireland watch along. Passed out. Thank you. Yeah, look, I don't really know what to say to that, man. First of all, maybe don't smoke as much so you don't pass out, my man. But no, look, I get it. It was a nil all. The game probably done it to you. You know what I mean? But big up the Truth Sets You Free. Hey, good man. You're a good man. Big up.
Pretty sure Massachusetts, David, it's a legal state though as well. So they probably have a lot of the good stuff. They have a lot of the very strong stuff when you think about it. So that's probably is David. He's smoking the good. But as well, when you think about it, Dave, the Ireland watch along, chances were missed. So, that means he's just enjoying it, just having a bit of a toke and whatnot, but pick yourself up, Truth Sets Free. Knowing also how long it's been since I've, maybe had a bit of that stuff, I probably would have passed out as well, Truth Sets Free. I definitely would have passed out, but pick yourself up, my man.
I just want to say as well, I don't do drugs out there, kids. Do not do drugs. But big up the Truth Sets You Free. Big up. Guys, here is the link for the second channel. Honestly, you need to get over and subscribe to this channel because it's going to be your Bible throughout January, throughout all transfer windows, all the scout reports, any player that Tottenham is linked with. At the click of your finger, it's going to be up there. So make sure you get over there, guys, and check it out. Make sure you're subscribed, and then you see what Jack puts together. You see me tagging along, giving my stupid input too. You know what I mean? And then you could ultimately decide for yourself. Is he the right guy for Tottenham? Is he not?
It's also a place for you guys to give suggestions, as well, because that's what I pretty much do. That's where I basically get it all from as well. Like everybody now is, saying, "Oh, Jack, you should take a look at this player. Jack, you should look at this player. This is the guy that would solve our problems. This is an alternative to what you just suggested, for a scout report." And honestly, as well, if all of your kind of transfer inputs, all of you the players that you think would fix our issues. That's why you head on over to that second channel, because you can actually be a bit more close and personal with me, and then we can actually discuss and also then produce the highlight reactions as well as the stats, and also just a bit of insight on those players and how they might fit into the Spurs system. It's basically, like David said, be your other Bible, as well as the Irish Hotspur being your Bible, be your second Bible, basically be that place, also that blueprint, you might say, for fixing Spurs. That's what that second channel is for you. And as well, who doesn't love a bit of guttural noises when it comes to some of the highlight reactions and whatnot? Who doesn't love it? But big yourself up. Really appreciate it, everybody, for heading on over there so far. I really enjoyed that channel. It's a really nice community and good family over there. True Sets Free says, "Love you guys. Support is here." Legend, absolute legend. And also, really, it does help a lot. True Sets Free. We're trying to go for the dream here. We're working very hard at the moment to be able to continue to bang out the content for you, especially over the international break, as well as also on the second channel. Keeps it, a lot of the support keeps that going as well. And also, just continue to maybe kind of keep up at this, keep going at the pace that we are at the moment as well. It really does help us a lot. Dave and I, at the end of the day, we are, normal guys. We do have kind of, bills to pay and things like that. We are trying to maybe, go as full time as we can. So, moments like this does really help us a lot, but really big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate you, brother.
No, look, I can only echo what Jack is saying, and it really, really does help as well. A lot of it goes back into channel. You see the likes of the tactics board; it's not cheap. You know what I mean? Obviously, we want to upgrade the equipment so that we can just keep producing better for you guys out there. Everything we do is always in mind of, keeping you guys. What would I say? What's the word, Jack, I'm looking for? Like keeping them engaged. That's the word. Keeping you guys engaged and stuff like that. And we always, whatever we're putting out, we're always conscious whether, is it good for you guys to tune into and watch and stuff like that. So it's a massive, massive help. The truth sets you free. Big yourself up, my man. What a legend. And look, before we do end off, I'm reading the chats in the comments. Look, I agree with all of you. But look, I was put in hot water and I have to say certain things. You know what I mean? But I do agree with all of you, all right? So look, I am out. We are out. We've been the Irish Hotspur. It's been another great episode, an absolute cracker, an absolute belter, I have to say. I really was. I said to Jack earlier on I was going to enjoy it, but I've actually enjoyed it a lot more. So it's been an absolute pleasure. But before we do go, guys, a massive thank you to Jack here, who puts all the slides together. Look, basically what Jack does is whatever I put on paper, Jack puts into images. It's absolutely a beautiful thing, and it takes time. Believe me, these tactics board, they take time to do. So everybody, make sure you give a big up to Mr. Kaniki over here. Make sure you put it in the chat. Thank you, Jack. Absolutely brilliant. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's tuned in for the watch along and the Conte'S Tactics Explained. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who has liked that button, who has smashed the subscribe on the channel. We are at 4,836 now, so we're closing in on the big 5K. If you haven't already, do smash it. A massive thank you to everybody for the super chats and the financial support. It's a massive, massive help. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much it really helps. You're all legends, and the truth sets you free. Wants to get in one more before we go. Alcohol is bad. Marijuana is medicine, hence medical card, not drugs. Love you guys. Put me in hot water, man. You're going to put me in hot water. Maybe email me. Truth sets you free. Email me, please. But
maybe you guys can vibe out together. Truth Sets Free. Maybe you can vibe out. And also can't wait to be able to see Massachusetts, have a good old time with you. Maybe, as well. Maybe that's why you're such a good golfer as well, because you're probably so level headed, Truth Sets Free on that kind of stuff. But big yourself up, my man. But yeah, this is, Spurs and that do go well together. But, really appreciate it, my man. Really appreciate it. Honestly, you're an absolute legend. Absolute legend.
Absolutely brilliant. But look, guys, we are out. It's been an absolute pleasure. We will be back tomorrow with content. Do not worry about that. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. And we'll see you all back here tomorrow. As always,
we trust.
Come on, you Spurs. And in Conte we trust. Let's get the international break over the way. Let's roll back into the Premier League. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Everywhere we go.